Look around, leaves are brown, and the sky is a hazy shade of winter. A hazy shade of winter. Look around, leaves are brown, and the sky is a hazy shade of winter.
Who wants to do the recap?
I could do it.
Let's get it.
Okay, so we open up last session mid-conversation with speaker Shane, and then the first thing that happens is that someone basically comes in, someone who clearly works for her, and tells us, gives everyone news how the dragon was shot down by a group of dwarves that ambushed it. And everyone besides Illiken knows this group of dwarves. And then after that, we learn that piece of information. Then we see Arlagath. She's near the North Gate, I think, helping. She was helping the wounded and refugees and stuff like that. And then when she sees us, she comes and embraces everyone. And then we see she has this really bad burn, and she came from East Haven, so she tells us about that. She tells us a few things about the dragon, its strategy. And she noted how the dragon made everyone go mad, which confirms some stuff we had already heard. And then after that, she basically tells us how she can't help us because she wants to help the people of East Haven. Then we go to Big Smile's house. Valin comes along. And then as we're about to rest, Valin basically tells us more about her background with the Harpell family. And she also tells us her involvement with the Red Wizards. And she tells us to find this spire thing. Ooh. So we'll see what becomes of that. But at the time, we were more focused on taking down the dragon. So later when everyone's bedding down, oh yeah, I almost forgot about this. Gabar manages to somehow learn magic missile from Valin. He finesses it. I forget exactly how you did it.
I traded her a very important piece of information that I probably shouldn't have.
The map, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So there's that. And then we wake up and there's a giant blizzard raging across the town. And then we set out after a little while. Yeah, conditions are bad. The last of the refugees are coming in, and the gate's about to close. And there's a bit of a situation going on with some people trying to get in, and then us trying to get out. But the guards agree to let us go. And then they basically tell us how the doors are going to be shut behind us. So then we're like, oh crap, we don't know what we're going to do, but we press on through the storm to find the dragon. So when we find it, through some miracle, we manage to take it down with Illiken's spell Earthbind. On the second attempt, he gets it and magic lassos this fucker down to the ground. And yeah, so essentially we have a big fight, like we were talking about earlier. It really went down to the wire. We made good rolls and we beat the dragon. It explodes into a bunch of chunks of charlatan. Gabar was the one to deliver the final blow. And then I think something happened with Sapphira right after the dragon exploded. I forget exactly what happened there.
Well, Saphira let the spirit of the ragged chieftain possess her.
Oh, that's what that was, right near
Yeah.
the end. Okay.
Mm. So
Okay,
she was still
not a-
sort of feeling the effects of that.
I see. Okay, not the most important detail, but there you go. And then yeah, so after we beat the dragon, we arrive back at Bryn Shander. The gates are closed. We managed to get up through using a rope, and like Gabar misty stepped. And then once we get over the walls and into the town, we basically sneak past some militia fighting Dwergar, and then we save this guy Toss Up from a group of Dwergar. We see that there's some fires that broke out around the town. There's some fighting, but the big bad is destroyed. So that was the most important thing, and we got it done.
Yep.
And,
So
yeah.
I will take it from here. As you guys, hey, Will, you're super clicky right now. Your mic is picking up like everything.
All right, that's weird. I'm gonna go mute for a second.
No problem. All right, so I will say, you guys just rescue Nier and Toss Up and his family from the Duragars. Doesn't really matter how. You blast the ever living shit out of them. And you make your way to the market square and town hall. So you guys go to the map. Okay, so you make your way over to town hall. And as you do, you can see that town hall is currently under attack by Duragar with fire lances. Right. So if you recall, they were in the Sunblight Fortress. They were like sucking up lava and spraying it out at people. There is a bunch of those guys, and they're all going through just spraying lava on stuff and on people. And you can see that it's a fight. There's a whole shitload of Durgar, 12, 13 of them maybe, and there's double that in militia, but they are still getting their hands, or they still have their hands tied. And you can also see that Sheriff Markham Southwell is in the fight. So narratively, how would you guys like to take care of this? The town hall is burning, and you know that there are people inside of it, so that's something. And you also know that some of the other buildings are burning, and there's a shitload of Durgar. What would you guys like to do?
If I remember correctly, I think Saphira was going to just straight up go in and just start stabbing
Perfect.
some of these Duragar.
Yeah, you just run up and fucking Achilles from Troy, one of them in the neck, right? And just keep going, stabbing these Durgar, no problem. Go right into the fight with fury. Who's next?
Yeah, I like that lead. I love that opening. Actually, I'm gonna follow suit and just start throwing haymakers.
Saphira has not really been themselves for the past couple of minutes as you guys traveled back to Bryn Shander. She has a bit of fury and primal rage inside of her.
That's why I kind of like this Saphira.
Yeah, so you follow behind. You take one of the Durgar off of Saphira's spear and like fucking pull him toward you, give him the elbow, right? Fucking knock him out, and you guys are like tag team fucking up some Durgar. Like Quintus and what would you like to do?
I guess I'll be on survivor duty and just go into the building best I can, and whoever's in there.
Perfect. All right, so you go.
I'm going with Quintus.
Okay, you go with Quintus. I'm gonna say that doesn't V have control water?
Yeah, shape water.
Shape water. Okay, so V's just gonna use that sort of power along with some like telekinesis stuff to pick up huge things of snow and try to drop it on the fire to start putting it out. And then so Illican and Quintus run into the burning building, right, and start grabbing survivors and like, come on, you gotta go this way, Okay. Gabar?
I'm not gonna lie, I was trying to fix my audio. I caught about half. So we made it to City Hall and it's on fire, and we're trying to do damage control right now, right?
Well, there's a shitload of Duragar. But it looks like Saphira and Big Smile have that under control. And there's also town hall is burning. So V is trying to put it out currently.
I have shape water as well, so
Okay.
I will join V in the effort to try to put out the fire.
Perfect. So as you guys are putting out the fire, it ends up going out well enough as you're picking up huge bits of snow and dropping it on the building, trying to. There's like steam and smoke blasting in the wind, right? Because it's still windy as all fucking get out, and you're like trying to put out control this fire, and as Quintus and Illican bring out some survivors and bring them into another building, next door that's not burning, you start moving people. The Durgar start dropping like flies because now Sapphira and Big Smile are here, right? The cavalry called into cavalry, right? So you guys just start fucking pummeling on these Durgar, and there's a Durgar that so they're all of them are enlarged. Most of them are enlarged right now, so they're like fighting a bunch of ogres, and Big Smile from across the battlefield. You see that a Durgar slaps Markham Southwell, the sheriff of Brinchander, slaps him with his pickaxe, right? Knocks him on the ground, and he's got it like above, like he's gonna fucking chop into the sheriff. What do you want? What do you want to do? It's like a giant sized.
Can I try and grab the
Fuck
pickaxe?
yeah, totally. Yeah. So you run across the battlefield, jump in the way, grab the fucking pickaxe, right? And what do you want to hit him with it or something? Like what do you want to do?
Just like toss it out of his hands.
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
Go fist to fist with this guy.
Absolutely. So you grab it, throw it out of his hand, knock him once in the fucking face. He goes backwards. You knee him in the groin, right? He falls over. You help up Southwell.
For sure.
And as you're helping him up, you realize that might have been one of the last Durgar in this sort of fray. And as you help up Sheriff Southwell, you do the brotherly arm grab thing with him, right? You help him up, and he says, "Oh, thank you, but the fight isn't over yet. Go find the dragon."
It's no, already taken care of, friend.
No, the dragon. It's coming still.
Dragon is gone. It's been defeated outside. Snowdrifters took care of it.
It's already been slain?
And I'll just like look around at like all the snowdrifters just like putting out fires and
yeah.
still running around, but just like a very satisfied nod as I look at our party and all that we've done.
He says, so you he's like stuttering. You defeated the dragon made of pure charlotte.
It's been destroyed. That's right.
He like blinks and is like blown away. He says, you are heroes. Mighty heroes.
She put up one hell of a fight, that's for sure.
He will nod at you and run up the stairs of the town hall, which is now almost completely put out, right? And he will say, "Victory is ours! 10 Count has triumphed!" And you can see all the militiamen. Some are helping others up because they're all bloody and beaten and fucked up. And, others, they all cheer in their fucking leather armor and shit. And he says, "The snow drifters have slain the dragon! The dragon is dead!" And all the other people are like, "Yeah, the dragon is dead!" And as everyone is cheers all around, he will say, "The fight still isn't over. Let us rid this town of the Durgar forces, drive them out, and send them back to their holes." And the crowd, "Ah!" And now morale's really high, and they sort of go out into the town, searching for Durgar. You guys have saved Town Hall.
Yeah.
It's pretty much saved. What would you guys like to do? There's still Durgar in the town. Would you just like to spend as much time as possible rooting out the Durgar
I'm
forces?
going to play
Sapphire
favorites and
is.
say we head for the North Look.
You want to go to the North Look?
You got to make sure that's safe.
Yeah. Oh, dude. There's gonna need a lot of drink after this.
There's a lot of refugees here.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
amongst
So
other things.
you guys make your way through the streets, and as you do, you fight Duragar and whatever kind of crosses your path. As you go, you might find one invisible one, and then a little bit further, you find one ogre-sized one, and you guys just fucking pummel this son of a bitch. And you make your way to the North Look. It's kind of got a bunch of people in it. Excuse me. But most of the people have been ushered down into the cellar below the North Look. So the cellar is sort of crowded and spilling out. You don't see scram sacks anywhere. And you sort of protect the North Look for, an hour or two. And then you're like, oh, it looks like there's a fire springing up over there. So you guys just spend most of the day taking care of Duragar. Does that sound like what you would be doing for the most part?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sapphira is like you can see like in her eyes, there's just like anger in them as she is just killing every Duragar she sees.
Yeah. Well, after about an hour, Sapphira, the spirit leaves you. And as it does, as it washes out of your body, you have 2 levels of exhaustion.
Yeah, she is like at one point just like, good, now that we killed them all, make sure that we slice out their organs and
Yeah, just falls in the snow. Yeah. You guys got to help Sapphira back up.
Oh, you okay there, girl?
oh my, what happened?
Yeah, put on one heck of a show, that's for sure. You were swinging that thing like I've never seen it move before.
Was I?
Yeah, I thought it was like a figurative, like invigorated with a warrior spirit. No, they really mean possessed.
Oh no, I didn't go too hard, did I? Too far?
You never go too hard when you're fighting a big old chartling dragon, Sapphira.
Yeah, at least it was pointing in the right direction.
Boleyn spins around and fires magic missile at a Duragar who comes running through the streets, and she says, "We'll have time to discuss this later."
How does that thing still have charges?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think she has any more. I think she
Thematically.
used the last one. Thematically, right? You guys thematically.
Yeah,
used
that's just a
stuff.
scene in the montage of us kicking Duragar ass.
Okay, so you guys just spend all day in the streets fighting any remaining Duragar. And for hours. So this is exhausting. Running back and forth through the streets. Every time you see a fire crop up, you have to go take care of it. You notice, there's people being assaulted by Duragar. There's, you might have to save somebody from a collapsing building because these Duragar are burning it. But you basically, any fire that pops up, you put it out. So there's no real damage to the town. But by day's end, the blizzard has subsided. And honestly, the militia can take care of whatever forces haven't already fled. And by the time you all finally get a chance to breathe, you immediately notice the aurora appear and illuminate the already slowly clearing sky. Blues, pinks, purples, greens. A beautiful array. You also notice a few others come out of hiding to witness the sky. All over the town of Bryn Shander, people cautiously expose themselves from the darkness to watch the light. The night falls on Bryn Shander. Safe at last. After a few minutes, the aurora fades away, and the darkness and bitter cold consumes the town once more. A not so subtle reminder that this never-ending winter will never end. And every good moment in it is a glint of light that will eventually be consumed by the infinite sky of darkness. And as we sort of get this shot of you guys looking up at the, from the street, we get everybody all standing together. You're beaten up, you're bloody, you got dirt on soot all over you guys. You're holding your bloody weapons or whatever else you used, you know. You're all exhausted. And as we sort of get this shot of you guys all looking up at the sky and the light sort of fading away, it fades to black. And at this point, we are going to have a time skip. So, for the time skip, I want to know, it's going to take a 10-day. We are going to have an exactly 10-day time skip. What would you guys like to have done in the 10-day time skip? What information would you have liked to have known? And what sort of, it's sort of like downtime, but not downtime because there's always shit to do.
I want to keep tabs on Maxil Dinar and friends.
Awesome.
Whether
I will
it's
get
just disguised or invisible follower.
I will get back to you on that one.
Yep.
Does anybody else have anything they want to know about?
do. It does deal with going to Targos, though. Can we leave Bryn Shander to go to Targos?
You can. Just tell me what you want to do, and we'll sort of narratively take care of it.
I want to go check on Triglios.
Okay. So I think before you do that, you can ask around some Targos natives that have migrated here, refugees, and you will know that Triglios has been completely and utterly destroyed.
Right. It's less about Triglios and more about
the guy.
Did he survive?
As you ask around, why don't you make an investigation check? Because you know that most of Targos has been abandoned.
Okay. Can I roll a portent, assuming this is on a separate day, and just have a portent roll that I could possibly use for this?
I'll allow it. Yeah, I'll allow it. Yeah.
I'm going to use that lower, the
18?
2.
Oh, the lower?
Well, yeah, no, the 8. Sorry, the lower is in the roll.
I see. The 18. What's that total?
And you said what kind of check was it?
Investigation.
That should be. That's gonna be a 26.
Woo! He's here in Bryn Shander.
Fuck! He survived. Damn it.
He's here in Bryn Shander. He did survive.
Who are you looking for, Kamar?
I think Justin Hira is the owner of Triglios in Targos, who has a prosthetic hand that I want.
Oh, right.
I was hoping
It's like a
he might have
robotic
not
hand.
survived.
Right. Oh.
The owner of what?
A prosthetic hand.
Yeah, you know that he has currently been staying, as you ask around a lot, you know that he's staying in someone's like a random NPC's cellar with
That's
a couple.
fine. I'm not gonna try to rob
Okay.
a guy.
I mean, you know exactly where he is because you got a 26. That's incredible. So you know exactly where he is if you wanted to rob him.
I'll loot a corpse, but I'm not gonna rob a man.
I got you. Yeah, he did survive.
Okay.
I do have that written down. Okay, so anybody else?
I would like to maintain the appearance that I am still living in my house, but take all of the like actual valuable shit and like actually be sleeping. Is there a place at the House of the Morning Lord that I can?
Oh, that you can. Well, you can, but it's currently a hospital.
Yeah. And like I would just spend my time like helping out at the hospital and crashing there.
Absolutely. You can totally help at the hospital.
I feel like we might get murdered in our sleep
if
we stay at
that sounds good. Yeah, you spend a 10-day sort of helping out at the House of the Morning Lord.
And I would take like Quintus's trunk that he was like hiding under the bed with like all the valuables, anything like insanely valuable, I would like store there.
Okay.
And then just help tend to the wounded and
you keep it within eye shot at all times, basically, and tend to the wounded and stuff like that. Absolutely. You actually learn a couple of prayers to the Morning Lord while you're there. So now you know like exactly how to pray to Lathander. So
I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
While he's doing that, I am staying in the house. I'm casting alarm spells, and I'm sleeping in his bed.
Okay. So while he sleeps in sort of shambles on a cot made of hay, you're sleeping in this fucking king size, double California king size.
For Gabar, it's
$10,000
like
mattress.
Yeah.
It's a journey to get out of the bed every morning.
I cast Misty Step to leave.
Okay. All right. Anybody else?
So I think Sapphira is going to be. She spent a lot of this time in Brimshander, basically just fighting off the Durgar and
Oh yeah,
being.
well no,
I
well
guess,
once
like,
after that first to second day,
no, I mean, like,
Durgar things dealt
I'm talking
with.
like before all this, like this fallout, of course, but like
Mm.
after that, I would say she's spending most of this time just like helping the wounded, being the I guess the vanguard and protector of the town that she was essentially hired to be.
Mm.
And just keeping track of everybody, making sure that everybody is like
Perfect.
safe. They're holding up well in Brimshander.
Yep.
And also kind of just like keeping track of like some of the other people who have like
I will
traveled
give.
from towns into.
I probably could have gave you guys more information before I let you loose, which I will do here in just 1 second. And you might want to add what you want to do to that, because the same thing with Brendan. He had something that I have specific information for. But Illican, what would you like to be doing? I get you, Sapphira. I'll get back to you in a second.
Okay. Yep.
Illican, what would you like to have been doing?
For the most part, I think he'll just be helping out at the House of the Morning Lord, actually, with Big Smile.
Reminiscent.
But he will, yes, reminiscent. But it's just because he has healing abilities and he doesn't know how to other use of himself. But I think he'll just kind of ask random people if they know the whereabouts, or if they've seen like a dwarf and a big bear person.
Okay. People are like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, like, no, that doesn't really resonate with anybody. Let me give you guys some information that I should have just gave you outright before we did this. And like I said, Brendan, I still know what you want and I will get back to you. Okay. Currently, you are dealing with a refugee crisis of massive proportion. Hundreds of people reach Brimshander with no food, shelter, or anything of use. Hundreds are quickly falling to the effects of starvation. Many of the fishing industries in 10 Downs now cease to function due to their boats and docks being destroyed. And Brimshander is not a lake town, so it's a trading post. So all trade has basically stopped. So people are starting to starve. Not hundreds are dying, but they're starting to feel the effects of starvation. Some people try to reclaim their town, but discover that there's no shelter to be found, and it's difficult to rebuild in the freezing dark. You are not rewarded monetarily in any way. All resources have been funneled into keeping people alive. During this 10-day time skip, Valin has hung around 10 Towns, or hung around Brimshander, but has mostly been keeping to herself during this time, appearing to be waiting for the right moment to speak with you all. You discover, through rumor mongering, that Speaker Trovis is alive. He actually lived, but he was knocked unconscious for some reason.
Nice.
But near the end of this has made his way to Brimshander. Near the end of the 10-day. However, this is the hard stuff, and we're not going to have a scene for it. But we can imagine the scene that takes place is, you know, we're having all these things, you guys helping out the 10 towns, and then we sort of fade to black and we fade back in, and you're standing before Speaker Huddle. And
Okay, perfect.
she has survived. And she tells you guys that because of the way that you guys warned them beforehand, there was only 6 deaths in Lonelywood total. However, during the attack, they didn't see it coming, and the whole town rushed to the boats that they had prepared to go out on the water, and the dragon didn't attack the water. However, those 6 deaths, some of which were people trying to flee towards the boats. The other deaths were people who drowned because of the chaos getting onto the boats. One of the deaths was Jana, the little dwarf girl, in the terrible troll killers of 10 towns. She drowned while trying to get onto the boats. And the speaker huddle and the terrible troll killers are deeply in mourning for her. You also find out that the ramshackle is a smoldering ruin. There's nothing left of it.
What now?
Honestly, probably an upgrade.
No more pockets to deal with.
Oh, that's true.
Boggles.
Can we ask her about the Cauldron of Plenty?
She brought it with her to Brynchander.
All right, perfect.
And she will tell you beforehand that unfortunately she cannot give it back to you. There is better needs for it elsewhere.
No, I want to make sure it was.
She'll say it in the most respectful way possible, but you're like, I know you guys got this and you gave it to us to protect us, but it's bigger than all of us now, and we're gonna need it. So injured and dead continue to be a source of problems in the 10-day following the attacks. The dead have been dragged outside of the town and piled to be burned when the winter ends. So there's just a pile of dead bodies outside of the 10 towns. They are currently not burning them because the firewood needed to burn them is too precious right now. All logging industries have been shut down. So whatever firewood or oil that they have is precious. It's now more pricey than gold. There was also another tragic death in the dragon attacks. Oris Masthew died on the field of battle. However, as you hear about this, you also hear that he was quickly replaced by an ambitious militiaman who fought bravely in the battle for Tourmaline.
By the name of
Twin Lupus. I think he's either an elf or a half elf. I think he's a full elf, but he might be a half elf. I'm not sure. Oh no, he's full elf. He's full elf. Lupus, yeah, Lupus.
Okay.
This one was no surprise to anyone, but Speaker Shaleskar of Bremen was killed and replaced by Bram Carter. Surprising no one.
What was the old speaker's name?
Shaleskar is the old speaker's name, but Carter, you know, the guy that you punched in the face, he's the new speaker.
Oh.
Also, Goodmead, still in the 10-day following the attack, cannot settle the matter of their speaker. So it will be addressed at a council speaker meeting coming up. I'll tell you about that in a second. Another thing that you hear about is nearly half of the population of Dugan's Hole has been destroyed. And in light of this, Speaker Maxildanar of Targos has offered his aid to them and provided them with a suitable representative to act as speaker until they can get back on their feet. That being his captain of the militia, Scath, is their sort of proxy speaker. He's not a full speaker. He's a proxy.
What was his name? Scanth?
Scath. You know,
Scath.
the guy that you asked about the bribes long time ago.
Yeah.
And he was a total douchebag. Yeah, that guy. And another thing that you guys have heard about in this sort of situation is that goblin raids have gotten completely out of hand. In just a couple of days after the initial strike of the dragons, goblins started coming in. They're looting the empty towns and people, refugees, sort of fleeing to Brynchander. They've been raiding on them.
That'd be time for a quick visit to Karkalak.
So in the light of any of that information, is there anything else that anybody would like to do? other than what me and Brendan are talking about? Because we're almost there. I'll go ahead and make the investigation check to see how well you can sort of keep track of the movement of Maxildinar.
Did Speaker Seaver get overthrown in these 10 days?
Nope.
Ugh.
Okay, we'll talk about Speaker Seaver here in a second. Because actually, at the end of these 10 days is two big events, right? First of all, it's the new moon. And second of all, it's Speaker Shane has called a Council of Speakers meeting. So all of the speakers from all of the 10 towns are coming to a council meeting, and you guys are invited. So after this time skip, that's where we're going to start.
Okay.
The only other thing I can think of is, can I try to figure out, like, work with like Speaker Shane on securing the remains of the dragon, either if it just means leaving it there and putting up militiamen around it so that no one in or anything like that, or just keeping it secure until we can figure out what to do with this massive amount of Chardolin, which is extremely dangerous.
That is extremely dangerous and honestly slipped my mind completely. So yes, that will be taken care of in the right way.
Quarantine zone outside.
Yes, quarantined. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, that's all I got.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that's fine. And honestly, I think now Speaker Arlagath, because so once you succeed the save against the Chardolin Dragons effect, you're less likely to succeed to it, or like less likely to fall for it again.
Yeah, you got a tolerance.
Yeah, you get a little bit of a tolerance for it. Because this is random shards, it acts differently than it did when it was in the dragon. When it was part of the dragon, it was like an ability. By themselves, the pieces are a little more dangerous, but Arlagath can sort of lead the charge on sort of quarantining that area. Even though she's a speaker now. Quintus, right? So what do you want to do? Explain to me how you go about doing this.
I'll use like disguise self to just be like a random passerby in the street, and like I'll keep swapping it out, like, so they don't catch on or anything.
Mm-hmm.
If I can find out where they're holed up, and maybe try to get inside invisibly.
Okay, I will say it's not good enough to know where they're hiding, but you do discover that through talking to different people who know people sort of thing, that Speaker Maxildinar fled his own town before the attack and is hiding somewhere in Bryn Shander. However, he is still making his influence known. But he's not making any, for sure that he's not making any big moves right now. But you have a feeling that this Council of Speakers meeting is the first time that he's going to sort of show his face in a 10-day or however long, and you might want to keep an eye on him after that, or, this speaker meeting is sort of his wheelhouse. This is where you could sort of what you gain from that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a face guy, and he can't show his face right now.
Yes, exactly. He's hiding on purpose, and that's why it's hard for you to find it. Like if you got a 20, maybe you'd find a safe house. But right now, you don't know where he is, but you do know that he's still moving and shaking, even though he's underground. All right. And even while you're like sort of talking to the guy who knows a guy, you like see something on a rooftop for a second, and you're like, oh shit, who is that watching me? Kind of thing. Even though you don't, think you're disguised, so it doesn't really matter. Okay. Anything else? Anybody else? Okay. We now, after this sort of 10-day of recuperating, losing your levels of exhaustion, regaining your strength after these huge fights and helping out these people try to survive. We sort of open up from the montage into the council chamber. As you walk in, and you guys were invited by Speaker Shane to attend this, even though it's pretty, you gotta know somebody to be in there. When you show up, people are already starting to settle in. It's a dimly lit, wide ass stone room that's like a whole stone building, but it's very dimly lit, with like lanterns on the walls. And it's cold in here too. There's not a lot of there's no fireplace or anything, so it's pretty chilly in here. But there is an ovular table set in the center and is surrounded by 11 chairs. And you can see that politicians and nobles sort of whisper to each other in the corner of the room. But as you enter, you can see that Maxildenar is already in his chair, sort of leaned back as if he's 2 seconds away from putting his feet up on the table. And standing behind him is this really bulky son of a bitch wearing clothes, and he's obviously freezing cold, with like sleeveless shirt, and his nipples are fucking sharp as knives. And as you walk in, he makes eye contact with Big Smile, and he will say, "Big Smile." It's Biff. He said, "I knew I'd see you again." And he runs up to you and starts shaking your hand really fucking violently.
Before he comes over, I'd be like, "Oh, fuck it. Illa can't talk to me. Maybe he wasn't noticed. Hey, Biff, how's it going,
It's so good to see you, mate." And he's fucking shaking your hand really hard. And he says, "You still owe me that air punch, you know."
I'll kind of mime like a little
I know. He says,
Milliken will
boss,
awkwardly smile at them both.
boss, look, boss. It's Big Smile Snow again.
Oh, fuck.
And Maxildenar gives you guys a wide smile, and he sits up from his seat and approaches. As he walks up to you guys, he says, the snowdrifters. After our meeting 10 days ago, you would have thought I chased you out of Targos. No one laughs. Everyone is dead.
Stone face.
He says, "I have heard rumors of all the good deeds you've been doing in the 10 towns. The White Moose, the lake monster. I heard you even saved a mountain climbing expedition on Kelvin's Cairn. And now the Durgar and the dragon? You are mighty heroes indeed."
We did do all of those.
Very admirable. Very admirable. We can forget about that misunderstanding in Tourmaline. You saved us all.
We also saved Speaker Orsu's life. Did you hear about that one?
No, I can't say that I have.
Oh. So we tried to assassinate him. Snake in a bag. Oldest trope in the book, if you ask me.
An assassination?
I'm a speaker.
My. Wow. I'm glad you're on our side. Good thing you haven't turned into greedy thieves. And he fucking eyeballs the shit out of you and Big Smile without doing it out in the open,
Do I catch that?
He does it really slyly. Make an insight check. He says it in a way that Big Smile and Gabar know what he's saying, but the rest of you won't have to pick up on it. So you can make an insight check if you want.
All right. 19, technically.
You pick up on it. And as he says, I'm glad you haven't turned out to be greedy thieves. He says, if you'll excuse me, I have other business to attend to. And he sort of turns to another person that's hiding in a corner, and he says, "Oh, pleasure to meet you." And he just starts conducting business.
What a fucking arsehole.
So much for laying low, Igbar.
What? I'm not the one fucking having someone scream my name across the room. Big smile, okay?
Yeah, that's not ideal. I'm not gonna lie to you. That hurts.
Yeah. It's not like it's a secret we're here anymore, anyways.
Yeah, Biff sort of
Think we're-
followed him away, and then every time you look over at him, he waves at you.
It's more of a cherry on top now. I don't think there's too much anonymity left in this town.
We came here to hide and to stay alive, and so far we've done everything but those two things.
Yeah, we didn't.
We're
do a
really
very good
fucking
job.
bad at this.
Do I hear this, or are you guys just
Yeah.
whispering?
No, they're sort of keeping it down, but it's within the group for sure.
It's
Oh,
within the
stop.
group, like you can hear it. It's like more of just like huddled up.
I'll kind of say to them, just like, well, I mean, look at it like this way. You've both have saved the 10 towns from utter destruction.
Yeah,
And helped them in plenty of other ways, you know? I don't think there's I think that can help alleviate some of the bad talk among the 10 towns at the very least. And if it doesn't, then I'll make sure to help you out.
I appreciate that, Sapphira. I think we need to worry about protecting our own selves from utter destruction these days too.
Well, that guy's
I mean, that's definitely more important, but you know, gotta make sure to keep members of the Snowdrifters kind of within. You know, gotta make sure they're safe. Out of trouble.
I'll speak in a hushed voice to everyone. Do we need to worry about this Maxil Dinar?
Yes.
Yes, very much so.
He has the stench of dishonesty.
As you guys are chit-chatting, did you want to say something? I'm just sort of
I was just gonna say, like,
Yeah.
that's right. Like, he wasn't around when we dealt with him last time.
No, I don't think he.
We're
I don't,
gonna have to fill you in on some gaps here.
Yeah. Well, as you guys are talking, Trovis walks in. And he doesn't have that sort of drunken air about him that you're used to. And as he walks in, he notices you and his eyes light up and he says, "You're all alive! You did it!"
You look
Glad to
good
see-
for dead.
I'm glad to see you're alive.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
Yeah, no, it's a lot still.
How did you end up surviving?
Well, you see, during the attack, I tried my best to stay on the front lines, but as you can see, he sort of gets a little more serious because he was happy to see you guys, but now he's sort of not as happy to talk. And he says, the Northern Light, it was hit hard and fast. And the Sherrard sisters, they were trapped inside. I ran in to save them, but a burning trust came loose and knocked me out. By the time I awoke, the town was destroyed, and the sisters didn't make it.
That's unfortunate.
They were like family to me. But don't let me get you down. I appreciate everything you've done for us. I will not soon forget your kindness and bravery.
We were glad we were able to help out, and we're glad you were able to make it.
Thank you. He'll sort of, if there's nothing else, he'll shake somebody's hand and sort of move on and take his seat at the table. After a little while longer, one other person approaches you. And this is a person that you do not recognize immediately. Let's see if I can find their handout. Yeah. So it is a full elf. He has piercing blue eyes, but not like Frostmaiden piercing blue eyes, just really bright blue eyes. And red hair that has sort of these white sort of streaks in it. This is what he looks like. And as he approaches you guys, he will say, "Well met. I don't believe we've been properly introduced. My name is Quinn Lupus. I'm the new speaker of Tourmaline."
Hey, Tourmaline. I am Sapphira of the Snowdrifters.
Yes, the Snow Drifters. All of you are, right?
That's
That's
right.
correct.
Well, I've heard great things about all of you. You're the ones who petitioned to move the kobolds into town. It's a shame they have all perished under the dragon's fire, but good on you.
Yeah, you're a militiaman, right?
That I am.
I don't think we met, but we met Drazivar back in Tourmaline. So
I've heard good things about Drazivar, but I've also heard not so good things about him. And I heard he disappeared not too long ago. But yes, I was there on the battlefield. I was there when poor Oris Matthew died on the field of battle. Sword still in hand. I was there with him when he died. What a brave speaker he turned out to be.
Yeah. Yeah, he was.
Okay. It was.
You were there at his last moments.
I was.
How did he pass? We were close.
Oh, Durgar got him with a pickaxe right in his stomach. Quite a gruesome sight. But he fought bravely.
No doubt there were other militiamen to protect him other than you, though.
Of course. Yeah, they snuck up on him invisibly. You know how them Durgar are.
terrible death for a good man.
I can't agree more. But I will say my efforts on the battlefield against the Durgar, leading the militia in his absence, was instrumental in our survival. And I'll keep his memory living on. Even though the town is nothing but ruins now, most of the people were kept safe in the mines. And that's why they elected me as speaker, and I have big plans to help the town, making friends instead of enemies.
That'll be good. We need to make sure that we have more people rebuilding these 10 towns than ever.
I agree.
And we need strong leaders like you in order to help us out.
Not much to separate us anymore.
I agree. Well, I will say the meeting is about to begin. I'll leave you all to your business, but it was a pleasure making your acquaintance.
Yours as well. Best of luck with your new speakership.
Good luck. It's brutal from what I've heard. The politics and yeah. Good luck.
Can everybody make a perception check for me?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I do like that guy's accent, Jay. Good job.
I don't fucking trust that guy.
I can never trust those accents because I just think of Leonardo DiCaprio's character.
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Django.
100%.
Yep. I don't want to metagame. I don't want you guys to metagame, but that is one of my favorite villain voices. So
What's his face from the Thundering Lizard had the same voice.
I did. You did. So Illican, I want to say that you're the only one that got a high enough number to, because you're the only one that got a high enough number to notice that when he like lifts up to move his hair or adjusts his collar or something, his sleeve gets pulled down a little bit, and you could see on his arm a snake tattoo.
Fucking knew it.
And he will, but you were the only one that noticed it, right? Is that he had this sort of just the head of a black snake you just saw on his arm as he does his hair or something and then goes to sit down.
But once the group is back to ourselves, I'll just turn to everyone and say I have a sudden urge to check Oris Matthew's body for the wounds that killed him.
That's where I was gonna go with this. There's no fucking way that this wasn't some sort of assassination attempt by Nair to claim speakership on this again.
He always was gunning for his role.
Look, that
Is
guy
it
is
safe
just
to
freaking a
say-
fucking stench.
You can whisper it.
Yeah, is it safe to say that Illikin would know like what the tattoo means? Because I think I think.
Did
he
we
might
talk
know.
about this? Did we talk about this already? Have you encountered it before?
Well, we encountered other people who had the tattoos.
Have you?
I think so, right? And what was it?
We encountered the assassin of Bragendareth.
You know what? You did fight a bunch of them
Yes.
in Bremen.
Bremen.
Is that where
Mm.
we were in that tavern? with
Yes.
the
Yeah.
dwarves?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yes. So you
Yeah.
have heard about it then. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure, but yeah. So then he would mention to everyone, I noticed a familiar tattoo just for a second. I might have not seen it right, but it looked like the head of a black snake, right under his shirt.
Oh, well, that's just peachy, ain't it? Fuck.
I mean, I don't want to edit my hit list in the middle of the speaker common room.
We can take out 3 of them right now.
Um,
But just a little.
As a treat.
just like when you went into
this one.
Bremen and just started beating their ass. He just picked open the
See
door
what
and was like,
they say
I'm taking
first.
you guys out. That's great. Okay, so this is about to be a whole J show, but here the meeting is about to begin, and we sort of cut a little bit later, and the meeting's about to begin, and I will tell you who all's here. First of all, there are militiamen at the front door, and there's like 6 of them. Most of them are outside, 2 inside, and inside at the 11 chairs, right? There is Duvessa Shane, Speaker of Bryn Shander. Standing directly to her right is Sheriff Markham Southwell. He is standing behind her. He does not get his chair. You can see next to her is Imdra Arlagath of East Haven, now a new speaker. She sort of nodded at you when she came in. She gave you her sign of approval. You see next to her is Cranach Seaver of Caer Denival. He has survived and made his way to Bryn Shander. You can see, you can see Speaker Trovis, Nimsy Huddle, the new Quinn Lupus. Sitting next to him is Nerth Maxildonar. You're very familiar with him. Bram Carter of Bremen is a new speaker. And then at one chair, standing on either side of it, is a dwarf and a sort of dark-skinned woman. I haven't described them before. There is a red-haired, generic-looking dwarf with a gigantic nose. He looks like this. He's got red hair. And then next to him is this sort of dark-haired, or this dark-skinned woman with dark hair. She's dressed all in these like nice, warm clothes. That is what she looks like. She appears to be of Cholton descent. And they are standing side by side next to an empty chair. You can also see Scath, this red-skinned tiefling with a black cloak, wearing the livery of Targos, sitting in the Dugan's Hole chair. And then you see 2 people you see somebody came in and they slipped by you. You didn't notice, but as you look at the chair now, you can see that 2 people are sitting side by side. There is Hlyn Trollbane is sitting in one of the chairs. And next to her is this fucking decked out dwarf. He's fucking wearing like these crazy awesome fucking metal armor. He's like decked the fuck out. He's got jewels and shit on his helmet and stuff. He's got like a fucking big ass bejeweled battle axe sort of strapped to his chair. And she's sitting right next to him. And she sort of slipped by you guys without you noticing. And that's it. So that's the 11 chairs. So that means Hlyn isn't sitting. She's standing. And just this dwarf guy is sitting in the chair. Okay. All right, now I gotta pull up my notes. Okay. So, the meeting comes to order as Duvessa Shang bangs the gavel to call the meeting to order. As she does, everybody sort of quiets down. All the noblemen in the corners quiet down. And you guys are sort of standing back a little bit, but you have like a sort of view of everybody. And Speaker Shane will say, "Good morning. We have gathered all the speakers and representatives here today. This is the most speakers to ever come to a council meeting in all of my years as council leader. I want to thank you all for making the journey here. We also have a few guests in our presence. It is my great honor to introduce all of you to the Snowdrifters." And she sort of lifts her hand towards you guys. "These fine people were able to stop the Dwergar and the Chardalin Dragon, and we owe our very lives to them." And some people begin to like clap a little bit. However, Speaker Seaver will sit up in his chair, and while people are sort of clapping for you guys, he will say, "If they are so special, why did they let all the towns get destroyed besides Brinshander?" And even if you guys are about to speak or anything, Trovis will stand up in his chair, scooting it's like a stone chair. These stairs are fucking massive. And he will like scoot it backwards and point a dragon finger towards him and say, "Seaver, you have no room to speak." And while he's saying that, like fucking white, because he's a white dragon, or he's a silver dragonborn, right? So like whatever breath weapon they have is like leaking out of the sides of his mouth. And he says, "You have no room to speak. If it were up to me, you'd be a dead man. You are the reason there's no one left from Caer Denival. You allowed them to be murdered. How long did you listen to their screams while you hid in your castle?" Right? And people are starting to, what is he? What is he talking about?
Second that motion.
Yeah,
I third that motion.
Yeah,
That's
and
impossible.
so Speaker Seaver will say, "I was protecting the longevity of my town. Who would have run Caer Denival in my stead? You are just a loyalist to Speaker Shane. Perhaps you want my castle for yourself."
Who would run this better than you? Probably everybody else in this
You're
room.
saying that out loud?
I would.
Oh my god. As you say that, Speaker, how would they react? Speaker Seaver will say, "These hooligans are not speakers. They shouldn't even be here." And Speaker Shane will say, bang her gavel and say, "That's enough. That's enough. Calm down, please." And as the room sort of settles again a little bit, Maxwell Dinar will sort of lean back and cross his arms and say, "That does beg the question. Where were you while your town was fleeing, Trovis?" Trovis will sort of look at you guys, like, "You guys know, like, have my back here." And he will say, There were 2 of my citizens trapped in their inn as it was burning. I tried to save them, but I was knocked unconscious." Seaver will say, "So instead of guiding the rest of your town to safety, you were willing to sacrifice yourself for just 2? The needs of the many over the needs of the few, Trovis. You would know this if you weren't glued to that bottle." And fucking Trovis is like, "That's it!" And he fucking leans over the table and is like coming after Seaver. And that's when Biff will move towards him, and Sheriff Southwell will also move towards him and restrain him, hold him back, right, from ripping fucking Seaver's face off. And Shane starts banging on her gavel again, trying to get everybody. "That's enough! That's enough! Many mistakes and miscalculations were made."
If I may speak on Speaker Trovis's half, at the very least, he was able to willingly risk his own life to save 2 of his own citizens, unlike some of the people who I will leave nameless at the moment, who have decided to leave their townsfolk out to die.
Scath has been sitting sort of quietly this whole time with a fucking smirk on his face. And he will say to you, Sapphira, there's nothing left. Oh, he has like a different voice. Whatever. Doesn't really matter what his voice is. He'll say there's nothing left of Dugan's Hole besides the standing stones of Throne. If you guys could have stopped the dragon, why not sooner?
We did it as soon as possible.
Not soon enough, Scath will say.
I didn't see you out there on the floor with the dragon.
He says, I defended my town while the dragon was attacking. Scath says, because he was there, and he did defend the Targos.
Well, that speaks well of you, I'm afraid.
Shane will say, enough. There is no reason to get tied up in what has happened when we need to move forward to survive. Maxwell Dinar will say, Speaker Shane is right. Let us put aside our differences and proceed with the meeting as planned. Trovis will jerk his arm off of Biff, right? And sit down fucking angrily. As everybody sort of relaxes again, the tension boils back down after a moment of quiet, and Shane will say, thank you, Nath. We also welcome another guest to our meeting today, as she's sort of ashamed. She feels very embarrassed that a fight broke out within the first 5 seconds of her meeting. This is Haster Silverstream, cousin of Dane Silverstream. He has come to represent the dwarves of the valley. Thank you for joining us today. And this dwarf that's all fucking decked out in dwarf bullshit, he says a bunch of dwarvish gibberish. And even if you understand dwarvish, it has such a thick dwarvish accent on it that's really hard to understand what he's saying. However, Hlyn is standing next to him, and she will translate. That's why she's here, actually, surprisingly. But she will say, he said, we have not had a representative in the council since the great Buna Battlehammer ruled the valley. It's an unfortunate occasion, but I come to offer our aid however we can. And, everybody nods, and Speaker Shane thanks them. And she will continue. For the first matter of business, before we can get into the crises at hand, we must settle the dispute in the speakership of Goodmead. Only one speaker may represent a town, and as many of your townspeople have fled and scattered, the dispute must be settled here. And she's sort of motioning towards the two people standing next to the one speaker's chair, the dwarf and this Chultan woman. That being said, the current speaker, Shander Froth, may you please make your statement? And the dwarf, he's very well dressed for a dwarf. He's wearing like a shirt that's probably designed for a human, so it sits on him extremely tight, so his arms can't really go down by his side very well and stuff, but he sort of sticks his hand in his collar to sort of make himself look important. And he will say, I am Shander Froth of Goodmead. I was elected after Kendrick Railsborough's death. Tempest rest his soul. I was elected by the citizens of Goodmead for my views on Goodmead's fishing lanes and my firm stance against Dugan's Hole crossing lines into our water. In my short time as speaker, I have already formed an agreement with Speaker Maxildanar of Targos to get the support we need to maintain our fishing lanes. I have no issues with making friends with the other towns, a view I fear my counterpart does not share. Also, before the attacks, under my supervision, mead production was up by 10% since last season. In the light of the attacks, I plan to maintain and continue production in our mead hall, which remains undamaged. I have the vote of the people already. I do not see why this is even up for debate. And as he sort of spits that last line out, Olivessa, this woman, that's standing next to him. She says, "You are a coward and a crook." And then suddenly an argument breaks out again against everybody in this town hall. They start throwing papers at each other, and they're, slap pisting each other or whatever. They're arguing. Yeah, they're arguing. And Davissa Shane bangs the gavel and settles it. And Speaker Shane will say, "Alavessa Untapor, do not get yourself dismissed from this council hall. Your statement, please." And she will, of Alavessa Untapor, this Cholton descent woman, will say, "My apologies. I am Alavessa Untapor. I have deep roots in Goodmead. My family has lived there since its founding many generations ago. So, naturally, I was put up for the speaker's chair when Railsborough died. However, I must admit that, at first, I had no interest in the position, and was disappointed, but also relieved, when Froth got the job. But, since he has been speaker, myself and many other townspeople have noticed Shander Froth's frequent absence from the town to visit his friends in Targos. But I do not hold that against him, for that by itself is not ground to contest one's speakership. However, during the dragon's attack, Shander Froth," and now she's pointing directly in his face. She'll say, "Shander Froth and his lackeys locked themselves in the mead hall and hid while the people of Goodmead fought for our lives. He left us to die while he hit and got drunk. That is the reason I wish to contest his speakership. A good speaker protects their town, if it was part of them. I have reason to believe that Shenderfroth cares very little for the town of Goodmead, and I would be better fit for the position." And as she's been pointing in his face the whole time, he spits on her hand and says, "What a lying little bitch," right? And then argument breaks out again. They start fighting. And once again, it is settled in the middle of this. Bang, 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 bang by the gavel. And Speaker Shane, with a long sigh, will say, "Both statements have been heard. The current speakers, including proxies, must now vote for the speakership of Goodmead. All those in favor of Shander Froth, say aye. Aye." And the people that say aye are Maxodanar.
Yep.
Quinn Lupus.
Mhm.
Scaff, Carter, and Seaver all say aye, keeping overruling Arlagath, Trovis, Huddle, and Shane. So Shander Froth remains speaker. And when that happens, Speaker Shane will say, she'll bang her gavel once and say, "Shander Froth remains speaker of Goodmead. Miss Untapor, I apologize, but I have to ask you to leave. Thank you so much for coming today." And she fucking storms out. And Shander Froth very pompously loosens his shirt up so he could sit down in the chair and sort of wiggles his butt into it.
I precipitate a very nasty smell right under his nose.
He's trying to keep his cool. He's got to keep his cool.
Nasty.
I want to give Miss Untapor a look. We should talk later. We have similar ideas.
Okay. As you give her a look, she gives you a look. And she exits. Speaker Shane seems disappointed by this outcome. But she does continue. Now to one of the matters at hand. Tonight is the new moon. The night that the children of Oral claimed we must hold a sacrifice. I think I speak for us all when I say that we do not have the resources or the morale to hold a sacrifice or of any kind. We have sacrificed enough. Are we all in agreement? And as she looks around the table, Maxodanar will say, "If we do not hold a sacrifice, it is possible the weather gets worse. We may be risking the lives of many if we do not comply with the Frostmaiden." And then Trovis will say, "The Frostmaiden will kill us all one way or the other, if this winter does not come to an end soon. I agree with Speaker Shane. There's no need for more death." A few other people sort of mumble at the table amongst themselves, trying to decide what they want to do. And Speaker Shane will say, fine, we will put it to a vote. All those against a sacrifice on this night, say aye. And aye. Trovis, Shane, Huddle, Arlagath, Lupus, and Carter agree that there shouldn't be a sacrifice.
Let's go.
So Trovis, Shane, Huddle, Lupus, who else?
Arlagath and Carter.
Arlagath.
Carter being the one that changes it from 50-50.
Okay.
Shane will bang her gavel. The motion is passed. However, before she could get the words passed out, Carter will sort of sit up in his chair. And I don't remember at all what his voice sounded like, so we're just going to do a gruff, gravelly voice, sort of like Trovis's. He will say, can we talk about those goddamned goblins trouncing about my town now? I'm done with the pleasantries. These goblin raiders rummaging through the wreckage of our towns has gotten completely out of hand. My town of Bremen is overrun by the damn things. They've taken to setting up camp and killing the survivors. Something has to be done. Shane and her militia, and when he says this, he's like talking to the speakers, right? He's not talking to her. But he will say, Shane and her militia cannot remain behind their walls any longer. And then he looks at her. Are you going to do something, or are you going to let those little monsters run amok in my town? And Max Ludinar will say, a group of 20 or so refugees from Targos were making their way to safety of Brimchander and were attacked on the road by goblin bandits. I agree with Speaker Carter. Something must be done. I suggest we launch a full-scale attack on their fortress. And all of Max Ludinar's supporters, they're like, here! Yeah! We launch an
With
attack!
what resources?
Yeah, so you say that during the hears, right? And Nimsy Huddle also sort of crosses her arms and says, another half-cocked swords blazing proposal by Nath. And you say that out loud, and she says that out loud. And Max Ludinar sort of sits up in his chair, his like comfortable, sort of relaxed, arms crossed position, sits up and looks at the both of you, like offended that you guys would fucking talk back to him like that. But Speaker Shane will blang, blang, blang. Order! Order! I actually have news regarding this matter. A messenger from the Goblin Fortress was recently captured at the southwest gate and was found to be carrying a declaration of peace from their chief, Yarb Nock. The message was addressed to me and requested I send delegates to their home in Karkaluk to conduct treaty negotiations. I propose at the very least we see what they want. Carter will say, you will trust a band of homicidal raiders to keep their word? This is an obvious trap. And also...
That's why you're sending us to negotiate.
They all turn towards you guys. Everyone, the speakers, everybody turns towards you guys.
Big smile included too. Oh, fuck, we are? All right.
We agreed to this beforehand, didn't we?
I feel like further discussion is to be held. Quintus? Right, guys?
Max Ludinar will say...
You know they can't do it.
Max Ludinar will say, how rude of us to discuss the fate of people who stand in this very room with us. What say you, Snowdrifters? Are you willing to negotiate a peace treaty with the goblins of Karkaluk?
Your call, Quintus. I'm with you.
Yes?
Bar, you're hesitant?
A little? Fuck it. I'm
The
in.
Duragar were like twice as big.
What do we gain from this, Quintus?
We've been able to sway the kobolds.
People stop dying.
A noble pursuit. Very well.
That's always a good thing.
I'm gonna try and like nudge Gabar just with my foot because he's probably at foot height anyways.
Like I'm at
So,
knee
like,
height for you. Okay.
Well,
Give me some respect.
I'll shin you a little bit to
Uh-huh.
be like, if he wants to do it, let's do this favor for him.
All right, fine.
All right. So you guys agree?
Quintus.
I mean, the town doesn't have the resources to do this anymore.
Maxwell Dinar will say, that settles it. The snowdrifters will try to make peace with the goblins. And Speaker Shane will say, does that suffice, Speaker Carter? And Carter will eyeball the ever-living shit out of you guys and say, he'll say, we will see.
Let me maybe clarify. We'll resolve the situation. Don't know if we'll necessarily make peace.
Yes. Speaker Huddle will actually say, if it is a trap, I'm sure it's nothing they can't handle. And Shane will say, thank you, Snowdrifters. Now, to the next topic. And I want to go, so that's sort of all the sort of scripted section. Now I want to go over some things that they talk about. So I'm gonna run you down with the destruction list. So I'm gonna go through each town. I'm just gonna give you quick numbers, quick sort of idea of what's happening, and then I have a little written thing, and you guys will sort of get a vague idea of how the rest of the council meeting goes. Okay, because there's nothing really else for you guys to input on or to learn any information from other than these little things. So Dugan's Hole, half of its population is dead. There was only 50, now there's 25. It's completely destroyed, including the docks. Nothing remains except the standing stones of Thrun. Goodmead, a quarter of its population is destroyed. There was 100, now there's only 75. All buildings are completely destroyed except the Mead Hall. The Mead Hall remains untouched as if Zardarok had plans for it, which is true. In East Haven, a third of the population is dead. There's 250 deaths, 500 survivors. Because East Haven was ready enough, the town is only destroyed slightly. Oh, you saw it. You saw it. You saw the destruction of East Haven. Caerdenival, the entire town is completely destroyed except the Care, and there was 0 survivors. No one survived except Speaker Seaver and his minions, his employees. So literally everyone died in Caerdenival. In Caer Koenig, there was 50 deaths, a third of the original population. And everything is destroyed. In Tourmaline, there was 100 deaths, so it's only 1/5 of the population. The residents took refuge in the mines, and a lot of them lived.
How many died?
How many died? A fifth of the population. There's 500 survivors, basically.
Okay.
And then in Lonelywood, there was only 6 deaths, 100 survivors. Approximately, right? These are rough numbers. But yeah, there's 100 survivors, only 6 deaths. All the buildings were destroyed. Everything was destroyed.
Did I miss Bremen?
I must not have written it down. Yeah, you did miss.
We don't have Bremen or Targos yet.
Okay, let me find those. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I got there's an answer to that question.
It's not good. I get it.
No, it's not good. Okay, Bremen. 2/3 of the population were killed. Including Speaker Sheoskar, Cora Mulfoon.
Oh.
She died. And their entire militia. There's only 50 residents left. Targos, 500 people. Half the population were killed. So that was one of the biggest hits.
Grimshander.
Grimshander's good.
I mean, I guess so, but you know. You don't know how many people who were like living in Brimshander at the time.
Yeah, and there
died,
was
so-
no major chunk of the population that died because you guys stopped the dragon. So it was minor casualties. It's like, what do they call that when they go to your house and ask questions about your family and shit?
Census?
Like a census, yeah. It's like a census sort of numbers, you know. It's not. It represents the population, but doesn't accurately say exactly how many people are alive or dead. So that's the damage calculation. That's about how bad it is. Also, Nimsy Huddle offers up your. I didn't write this down, but Nimsy Huddle offers up your Cauldron of Plenty as sort of for the town use, for the 10 towns use. It's like public domain now, and the government will control how it is used. But this is the government of Brimshander, not like Targos, so it should be okay. And they sort of vote on how it will be taken care of and how it will be used. And I think the same thing, because I didn't write this down either, but I think the same thing goes for the Charlton sort of thing. They all sort of decide. I mean, how do you guys think that they should go about doing this? Like, how should they handle the Charlton situation outside of town? Like, just sort of quarantine it off?
I
Put
mean,
it in
it'd
the
take
lake.
months, but collect it and have a fucking expedition team put it on Kelvin's cairn and forget about it.
That would be really hard to do because it like turns people. So they get people that like, so they expose people to it and then deal with that, like restrain them and expose
vaccination,
them.
you know?
Yeah. It's like a vaccination. Yeah. And they'll take like prisoners and stuff and make them do that kind of thing or something. They all sort of, they vote on it and handle it.
If you survive, you get 5 years off your sentence.
Yeah.
Oh, damn! I thought they were gonna have like professionals handle this, but I guess in the 10 towns, it's now just prisoners.
Yeah, it's just prisoners.
I
Yeah.
don't think
Or
there are any
slaver.
professional Charlton handlers.
Nope.
Right.
We killed them all.
So that's something I didn't write down, but so you guys get that. But in my little thing, it says they continue. So the council continues back and forth for some time. The dwarves of the valley offer some aid in food, medical supplies, and building supplies, but it's not enough to rebuild the 10 towns. You get the feeling that in this never-ending winter, rebuilding is impossible. It's just impossible. The 10 towns, the 10 towners will begin dying off one by one from exposure or starvation and sickness if they don't begin to turn on each other before then. Basically, the general sense that you get from this is it's fucking bleak. It's rough. This is a crisis of like a refugee crisis of epic proportion. And it's on the edge of the world. In a blizzard, never-ending winter, it's night all the time, and basically almost all like major industries have been shut down and have to restart again. And like all the boats are destroyed, all the docks are destroyed. You know, like they have to rebuild boats. And how do you rebuild boats? You need to get wood. The fucking lumber company shut down. We got to get the lumber company back up. So it's a huge mess, and it's going to be impossible. They're looking at hurdles that they cannot leap over. If this winter doesn't end soon, 10 towns is done. It's over with. I mean, there's just no way that they could rebuild in this condition. And that's sort of the feeling that you guys get, even though the speakers argue a lot and they go back and forth on some things and they settle some matters. Oh, we're going to start this lumber company in Bremen, and we're going to, base it out of Brimshander, and we're going to have these people, but how do you feed those people? How do you clothe those people? How do you give them, what supplies can they use? So it's shit all the way down. And that's kind of the feeling you guys get at the end of this speaker meeting. Is there any other like things that you guys think that they would have talked about that I didn't mention?
Nerth trying to take over the world.
Nope, nothing like that.
That
However,
doesn't come
you do see his sort of influence on some of the speakers. It seems like Seaver's even on his side. Everything that Nerth
up.
votes on,
Birds of a feather.
yeah, everything that Nerth votes on, Seaver sort of joins him in the vote. So it's it's looking rough. It seems like from what you're looking at with your, like, if you're inciting them the whole time, from what you're getting, Maxodonar has over half the speakers.
Yeah.
So he basically has control of the speakers, like the laws that get passed and the motions that get passed. Okay. All right. Anything else?
I think just at one point, like whenever the speakers be like, "Well, why didn't you save our town?" and like complaining about that shit, I would have like sarcastically leaned over to be like, "Fucking no good deed, eh?"
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Just kind
Definitely.
of adding to this like horrible, dismal attitude of
It's
like nothing
real,
is,
real
like,
bad. Yeah.
yeah.
And honestly, I was like, oh, you need to fight more Durgar. Fuck that. But like, this is horrible, horrible, horrible. Way worse than fighting more Durgar. This is awful, awful nightmare situation.
So, as far as the people on Maxwell and our side, we
Mhm.
gathered it's Seaver, Scath, Lupus, and who else?
Carter
Harder.
Carter. Okay, yeah.
and Froth, Shander Froth. Did you mention
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Because you guys heard a long time ago that Froth was already, you already
Yeah.
heard that he was under his thumb. And you had suspicion that Lupus was as well. And you guys knew that the Zentarum were
Carter.
settling. Yeah, they were settling in Bremen a long time ago.
He's been gunning for the Tourmaline speakership
Right.
for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah, or the Bremen one. Yeah. Because it was going to happen eventually. It's just this sort of opened up the opportunity for Carter to sort of swoop in and take speakership. So, all right.
Is this meeting adjourned now? Do we have a chance to talk? As
You do. I mean, if you don't have any more questions about the meeting, then yeah, we can move forward. Nothing else? Okay. After the meeting, people are shaking hands and avoiding others and sort of making their way out. And Hlyn approaches you guys after the meeting. And she has this dope fucking decked out dwarf next to her. He like clank, clank, clank when he walks. He can't even bend his knees. He's so fucking decked out in metal and jewels and shit. And she will introduce you. I'm not going to do her voice this whole time, but she will introduce you to this guy. His name's Haster Silverstream. He's the cousin of Stokely Silverstream, the Dane of the Dwarven Valley. The Dane is sort of like the leader. His
First
name's
name again? Sorry.
Haster is the guy you're meeting. Stokely is the Dane.
Stokely.
Yeah, I don't like that name. It doesn't sound like a badass leader of all the dwarves in the valley, but that's his name. Stokely Silverstream. But Hlyn will tell you that she needs to escort Pastor Silverstream back to the Speaker's Manor, where he is staying. But she would like to meet with you guys later at her house. She has business with you guys.
Sounds good.
Yep.
You
Don't-
there?
Don't make me wait too long, you know, she says as she fucking leaves. Okay, is there anything else you guys would like to do?
We need to speak with Olivessa, right?
Yeah, actually, as you guys are exiting the fucking council hall, she's been standing outside in the cold waiting for you. Do you approach her?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Look
things
around.
didn't go your way in there.
Yeah, it is okay. I am Olivessa Unterpor. I saw you all inside, and I must say it is a great honor to meet all of you.
Snowdrifters.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
I have some matters I would like to speak with you about, and she like eyeballs Quintus. But privately, would you care to join me at Gilden Stag's Rest?
Not our usual haunt, but okay.
We got some time.
Yeah, it's nearby. And this meeting took like 3 or 4 hours, so it was like 10 when you started, so it's like afternoon now. As you guys head through the town, the streets of the town, the suffering in the streets is tangible. In fact, as you walk through the overly crowded streets, because like every refugee from all 10 towns is here. We were talking about 500 survivors. That is almost quadrupled the fucking current population. Like the original population of Bryn Shander has almost quadrupled. It's incredibly dense. As you guys are walking through the streets, you can see just people starving and sort of hunched over with nowhere to live or nowhere to stay. And you actually see a figure sort of laid up against a wall, and they're covered in snow. And you can see that it's a man, and ice clings to his shaggy beard, and his skin is a pale blue-white. You fear what may happen to him soon. And he is not alone.
I don't even know where to begin.
So they're just kind of like out in the open.
Well, I mean, there is no open at this point. Everyone is out in the open. There is too many people in this town right now. I mean, we're talking families and children and husbands and old people, elderly, everyone. Everyone in all of the 10 towns have come here. The only town left, because all the other towns are leveled. There's nothing. There's nothing to fucking cover their heads from the snow. There's nothing. So even now, inns are overcrowded. Fucking, people's houses. People are opening their doors to their houses and letting people in, and there's still not enough room for people to stay. And there's just people out in the streets, camped out with tents and shit. And those people aren't getting food from anywhere. Markets are closed. This is fucking brutal shit. It is really, really hard to look at.
So I am going to go over to, I guess, this older person, kind of shivering in the cold.
Yeah, he's like an hour or two away from dying.
I quite literally take the coat off my back and give it to him.
Yeah, he takes it, but you're not sure how much help that's gonna do.
Could I give him some lay on hands?
Sure, that might help him.
Sure. 5 HP of lay on hands.
Yeah, his skin being that pale blue, sort of the redness sort of returns to his face. And he thanks you, but he's too cold to even speak.
Sapphira, listen, it's gonna be close to impossible, but we can't get lost fighting the symptoms when there's bigger diseases.
I kind of look over at him, and I'll kind of rubbing my hands a little bit, and I say, more people can use that coat than I would need to. As I follow him.
Yep. You guys make your way to the Geldon Stag's Rest. There's no reason to even go to a bar. It's fucking closed. It's not closed, but like there's just people like living there in the seats and stuff. There's no food. There's no ale. It's basically just a house where people can live. And all the rooms are full. The whole bar is full. But you do manage to find a seat with Olivessa Untapor. And as you all sort of sit down in this grim, sort of bleak bar, dimly lit too, because there's an oil shortage before the attacks. And now whole stores of oil has just been obliterated. But as you all have a seat with Olivessa Untapor, she will say, I fear I do not bring good tidings. You must understand what is happening here. People are dying. Civilization cannot survive on the edge of the world like this.
So what would you propose then? Leave?
I have an idea that may help, even if only slightly. From what I understand, a few 10 days ago, a band of gnolls assaulted some fishermen on the ice of Loch Dinishir. One of those fishermen was a dwarf woman, named Nabira Morskull. Rumor has it that Nabira owned an enchanted fishhook. A fishhook capable of not only magically catching fish with ease, but also catching magical fish.
We've heard the story. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But Nabira, she was killed, and her magical fishhook stolen by the gnolls. There were some hunters from East Haven that tracked the gnolls to their home. A rift, a canyon, known as Cackling Chasm. And I know the location. And she will fucking show it to you on your map.
We already have it.
You do? I don't think you have it.
Yeah.
You've
We
heard
got
about
it
it.
from
You don't have the
Secrets guy.
actual location though.
Oh, I have a red dot on my map for it. I
Here,
was pretty fucking close.
here's the Cackling Chasm. But she will say, if you were to find the hook and bring it back to me, it could be of great use to the people of 10 towns.
In what sense, being able to catch magical fish?
Or it catches fish with ease. It isn't a lot, but it could help get some fishing industries back. And I know it may sound suspicious just bringing this information to you, but I have no desire for power. I only wish to help the people of 10 towns. If I can procure this fishhook, it may be my ticket to overthrowing Shandor Froth as Speaker of Good Mead.
Tip the favors away from Nerth, that's for sure.
She looks at you with eyes wide and she nods and she says, I knew that I did not have to say it, but Shandor Froth and his close friendship with Maxildanar is suspicious.
Maxildonar's hand is so far up Frost's ass, working him like a puppet. It's
Well, I have reason to believe that Maxildanar is not what he seems.
How so?
What do you mean?
He's a vampire?
Are you familiar with the Black Network?
Oh, yeah.
Can't be going there for a second, Quintus. I was like, wait, fuck.
He is I believe, a leading member of the Zentarum, or the Black Network. A mercenary company. Yes, what did you say?
Yeah, we knew he was in league with them, but leading them? Damn.
I have reason to believe that he holds more power than just a member.
You have any proof of this?
Not really. But just believe me when I say I know.
I don't disagree with what you're saying. We knew we were there in league together, but being a leading member of Black Network, that's
That is not the only troubling thing. I also have reason to believe that not only is he controlling many of the new speakers, but I also know that Quinn Lupus, the new speaker of Tourmaline, actually assassinated Horus Matthew under orders of Maxildanar.
Yeah,
you
that
don't have
sounds
any
about
proof of this either?
She says, you want to know how I know this?
Because
Yes.
you are quite
Yes.
this.
How does you know?
She has this big, thick sort of scarf on and all these warm clothes, and she will pull at it, and underneath of her lapel is a tiny golden harp
Fucking
pen.
Harpers.
It's a tiny golden harp pen. And as she sort of flashes it to you guys, she stuffs it back into her shirt, and she says, "You do not grow up in the only town making alcohol within 1,500 miles without making a few friends." Just do you guys know what the fuck that means? I mean, I know you do, but like, do your characters know what that was?
I nor my character.
I probably don't.
Okay.
Can I make a history check?
I mean,
I grew up in civilization.
I feel like you can know. They're the most
Yeah.
unsecret secret society.
That's what I'm saying. This might be like within 5 minutes of meeting her, she's always like, "I'm a Harper." You know?
Everyone
It's like
is
almost
always-
a fucking joke, you know?
I know.
Like
It is-
Abe was
Harpers
the
just
like
reveal
only
themselves
good
like
Harper.
this?
He went an entire campaign without spilling the beans.
I swear to God, every time you meet a Harper, they're just like Harper, and then they put it back, and they're just like, "Oh, okay, all right." But yeah, okay. So I guess without a check, I mean, most of you guys know Harpers are like the polar opposite of the Zentarum, right? They're a secret organization of spies that sort of tip the balance towards good, right? They sort of, they monitor, kings and kingdoms, and they sort of put people in power that sort of do the good thing, and they keep an eye on tyrants and stuff like that. Like they're the good guys,
Yeah,
but they're
if
like
CIA wasn't evil.
yeah, they're like the lawful good CIA, or like neutral good, I guess. But they just they're the good guys. And I guess was it Illican? You would have no fucking clue, but everybody else can have a general idea of what the hell the Harpers are. But she sort of shows you the pen of the Harpers and puts it back and says, I just have friends, basically, is what she says.
We already expected, we assumed when we heard of Matthew's death that Lupin was involved somehow, so it's...
All I really need is the fishhook. If you find this fishhook and return it to me, I can take care of it from there. But it could possibly tip the scales in our favor against Maxodonar's, how you say, puppets.
I'm gonna insight that just in case.
Okay, I'm making a side check.
Sure. 21.
She is being so forthright with you. She only cares about the 10 towns at this moment. Actually, you know what? I wouldn't even say that she only cares about the 10 towns. She only cares about taking down Maxildonar. And if that means taking down Shander Froth, that's fine by her. And you also get the idea that that's probably why she originally didn't want to get involved in the politics, is because a Harper, in the politics, is kind of, it's a little too close to the fire,
Sure, yeah.
But now she has to get involved because it's do or die at this point.
So we go to the Cackling Chasm, find a magical fishhook, bring it back to you, and then...
I'll take it from there.
And then... You're getting my drift?
No, she doesn't get your drift. Jay doesn't get your drift.
Why? We're gonna go to get this thing from you. We got obligations over in Karkalak?
You can do it after.
And
Are you
let's
trying to
not
milk
forget
this
about-
lady for money?
Yeah, are you?
I'm
What are you
trying to say what? No, I'm trying to say what happens when we go running all these other fucking tasks all around while Avarice is finding the lost fucking spire.
That's true. That's true. You haven't even talked with Valen yet. She's got the big quest.
I mean, if you're putting it out there, Quintus, yeah, what are we getting paid for this? But I mean, I'm talking about the other shit going down.
No payment. She'll say, just look into it if you can. I know you are a very busy group.
If we find ourselves in the area of the Cackling Chasm, maybe we pop in for a couple of killing the goals, you know?
Well, thank you for that. You have done enough for this town. I feel guilty asking you for more, but we are in desperate times.
Here, I am here to do whatever it is to make sure that 10 towns stay alive, even through this endless winter. And we are in no position right now to deal with snakes in our midst.
It's true. You might have to leave the snakes and go fuck with other important shit.
That's true. I mean, I didn't think about it like that, but you know.
But she will say, only if you can. Again, I cannot offer anything but my appreciation and the lasting safety of Pentowns.
We'll do what we can. But, yeah, there's a lot of bleeding to stop right now.
I completely understand. Thank you for your time and everything you have done for us.
Don't put too big of a target on your own back trying to save the world, you know?
I should say the same to you.
No, I'm telling you that because I'm speaking from experience here. He's killed other speakers already. He's tried to have us killed. Do the same for you.
I understand. Look into it if you can. I will. I won't waste any more of your time. Thank you for everything. And she will go to leave. Yep. Okay. She left. Now what?
Got a couple ideas. Could take a shortcut to deposing Shander Froth. I tell him to step down, and he does it, and the spell breaks. Or we just kill him.
Oh,
Damn, I didn't expect that.
The thought crossed my mind, but
I should at least challenge him to a duel. So dishonorable.
What, get caught?
I can't even take inspiration.
Killing a man in cold blood. What is this, Quintus?
Take
Um,
inspiration. That was beautiful.
Do you not recall why his speakership is contested?
I know the reasons. This man is no brave leader, it seems, if I am to believe what I have been told. But perhaps I would take his measure first and challenge him to something resembling fairness before ending his life.
to see how
measure
long he
was
can
taken.
stand on his hands?
His measure was taken.
What does that even mean, Elikin?
I had something a bit more intense in mind, but yet I have no business with this speaker, so you all will do as you will. But I simply do not believe it is right to kill this man in cold blood. We know better than the cowards.
Doesn't matter
That's
who's
politics.
better. It matters who's alive.
There are two more people that you can meet with today, Flynn and Valen, who both may have more stuff to talk to you about as well.
Right, we should probably speak with Valin about the offer she was talking about before to help guide her, that one person, over to the valley.
Oh no, she's leading that guy to the speaker Shane's
Yeah, he's
house.
staying in town.
She has
Oh,
a
the
guest- she
Shane's
has a
house,
guest-
right.
Yeah, she has a guest house where like important people come to stay,
Gotcha.
and that she's leading him there, and then she's going home. So you
Okay.
guys can meet Helene at home. Speak with her if you want.
We can always meet with Helm.
Yeah, we'll leave Lynn for last.
Leave Lynn for last or leave Villain for last? Which
Leave
one did you say?
Harpel last.
Okay. Agreed. Let's go talk to Lynn.
Okay, so you guys want to go over to Lynn's house?
Yep.
All right, so you walk through the crowded streets, and again, it's really fucking hard to walk through this town and see just the suffering. Some people sort of recognize you as you walk through town, and their eyes sort of light up like there's a glimmer of hope. But as soon as you pass by, it is completely overshadowed by literal darkness, because it is just night all the time. So you guys go to Lynn's house. There's like people camped out in front of it, but not like in her yard or anything. And you go and knock on her door. And as you knock on her door, after a moment, she sort of opens it up, and you can see her. She's still dressed for the day. She hasn't like got her curlers in or her fucking spectacles like you guys have walked in on her before. She's more in her badass sort of state, and she opens the door and says, "Come on, then, come on, get in."
I'll get inside.
All right, so you guys all head inside, and she'll close the door behind you and turn around and put her hands on her hips and say, "Gotta be saying, I'm right fucking happy you's managed to stop them Durgar and their dragon."
It wasn't an easy task, but at the very least, now we have a lot more matters that have opened themselves up to us.
Yeah, that's right. I ain't be kissing your ass like an everyone else be for just doing your job.
And
their
the coat off my
jobs as
back
well.
for that.
Yeah, well on you. But this one is far from over.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit. I'm sure you saw
Yeah.
how stacked against us that Speaker Council is.
Yeah. I'm not so much be worrying about the speakers. They can run this town into the ground if they want to. But no matter what they be doing, people are dying, starving, freezing to death. And we still don't be understanding why. Why is this winter happening? Where is it coming from? And if it ain't be ending soon, we're all as good as dead.
Given my my history at the very least, would I know?
You
why
don't
this is
know.
all happening?
You don't know. You don't know why it's happening. Nobody really does. Nobody's even really sure if it's the Frostmaiden. You know, they just kind of assume because the children of Oral showed up and were like, "You guys should do sacrifices because this is Oral punishing us." You know, but nobody really knows why it's happening or how to end it. It's just been going on for 2 years, and we've been just dealing with it instead of, you know, pulling it out by its roots. But Holin will say, "But you see, I've been doing me research, and I've found out a way to be getting some answers. You see, long ago, frost giants ruled this in here land. And it's been said that their leaders, the Jarls, Jarls, the Jarls, wouldn't meet atop a hill to settle their disputes. A place that they named Jarlmoot, Jarlmoot. Well, being the rumor monger I is, I learnt out the location of that in their hill, due west of here. And I will show you, she will show you on the map. And she will say, the reason I'd be bringing this up to yous is because legend has it that the Jarl spirits still in rest in their thrones atop Yarmouth. Ancient, wise spirits. They may be a knowing something about this never-ending winter. And if you play nice, they might be a willing to answer your questions. Gods know, they may be a willing to tell you how to stop on this disaster.
Now, we have seen some evidence of ancient frost giant stuff around here.
Well, if the frost giants' lords still be arrested on the top of this hill, they might be able to answer our questions.
Seems like kind of a long shot. Go ask some ghosts on how to end the long winter.
It's in the best I got.
I
Than you got any better ideas.
The Black Cabin was just, hey, go check in on my buddy, and it was able to put a stop to the winter for 5 minutes, but and I mean, this is something that might actually have some promise to it, so.
Yeah, I suppose it just seems. I'm just worried about letting Everest get too far ahead right now.
Yeah, it's a fair concern, but I also think, like, if we start down that path, everything else around here is just going to fester while we're on that for God knows how long.
Yeah, if you don't set up 10 towns for success before you go gallivanting off, you don't know if there's going to be a 10 towns to save.
Like, if we just leave them to goblin raids and starvation, like, they're fucked. They're fucked already. Even with our help.
We must involve ourselves then with these politics, you call them.
Don't worry, Lacan. I don't like it much either, but I think we're gonna have to meddle at least a little bit. Keep these folks with food on their bellies and something over their heads as much as we can.
As I said before, saving people is a noble cause. If there are means,
Why?
whatever they may be, for us to do that.
Saving these fucking people who half of them just accused of not doing enough to save them. These are the people you fuckers want to save right now? This is absurd.
That is my duty. I have to make sure I defend the 10 towns by any means necessary.
Helene will say, she will start to say, that's what I'm paying you to do. But then fall off at the end of that. Because she actually doesn't have anything to pay you. She'll say, I got to be honest. I ain't got much else to give you as far as pay goes. The coffers are gonna run dry here soon enough. Putting monies back into the 10 towns. But she gets a little excited. But this might be able to help you. Incentivize, if you will. From what I hear, there's an old pirate ship northwest of Bremen, frozen in the ice, less than a quarter mile from the shore. No one's sure where it came from, but it ain't a-going nowhere as long as this dark winter lasts. And in my experience, where therein be pirates, therein be treasure. That might be worth a good look. bringing a hoard of gold back into Brinshander mightn't be helping our dire situation. Plus, you can be a keeping however much you need.
Yeah, we should definitely check that out.
Definitely go check that out.
Big smile says unsuspiciously.
I don't know what good gold is gonna do. Can't build a house out of it.
It could get things moving, though. Again, it's the little things that are going to start getting things moving again. The fish hook is nothing in the grand scheme of things, but it will help a little bit. Same thing with bringing gold back to the town. It may help a little bit.
I mean, we could do a quick little loop of the goblin hideout and then Yarloot and then the pirate ship and back. If we
Point of reference.
Oh, hey, they showed you where your Karkalok is. I forgot to mention that. And you guys were wrong. It's not where you thought it was. It's further down.
Oh, boy.
Shit.
Oh, better.
Boy, even further. Yay.
I forgot.
Point of reference. How did you hear about pirate ships?
Oh, I just keeping my ears to the stone.
Right, but who was talking about it?
I've heard it from a couple of blokes. People that go out that far. This fisherman heard it from another fisherman, heard it from a hunter, heard it from a ragged.
Oh, we certainly got our work cut out for us here.
Season 2.
Season 2.
Well, thank you, then. We'll do what we can here.
Yeah, that's an all I got for yous.
It's a good start. Just doesn't seem like, I don't know, feasible anymore. We started for you was stopping goblins, getting rid of some kobolds. Now we're supposed to save the fucking world.
You're all we got.
I mean, it's really just north of the spine of the world. It's not that much of the world.
The only world most of us got left.
Aye.
All right, so Karkalok in the morning?
O'clock in the morning.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, I'm sure Valin will love that.
Oh, Valent's probably gonna kill all of us.
We can take her.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. You guys might can take her. She's one against many.
Yeah, what? Her and the 2 kobolds are fine.
Yeah, you'll probably be fine.
She'll
probably take one of you down, though.
I'm pretty sure.
She can probably take one of you down. That's not too bad. V probably. They have really low hit points. Really low.
Fine, we take her down. I get her spell book.
All right. Is there anything else you guys want to talk to Helin about?
Yeah, Quintus gets a heavy look on his face, and there was something else in the fortress. We met a devil.
Do you say this like in front of everybody, or do you wait till everybody's leaving?
I'll say it in front of everyone.
A fiend, do you say?
Yep, straight from the big boss.
What do you think that means?
I don't know, but to put my mind at ease, I need to ask you to do something, and you're not going to like it.
She sighs and crosses her meaty arms.
I need to cast a spell on you just quickly.
A spell? Casting a spell on me? Are you out of your goddamn mind?
Listen, I that's why I'm asking for permission.
This better be good. All right, she'll allow it, whatever it is.
Yeah, I want to suggest that she come clean about anything she might know about working with devils.
Okay. She will. So she fails the spell automatically, right? Because she didn't. She allowed it to take over her, right? And she will say that she has done jobs for, some of those families that you sort of wrote about, right?
Mhm.
She's done jobs for them, no doubt. And she's seen devils firsthand, but she's never worked for them before. She doesn't deal in that sort of thing. And what else would she know? She'll be completely honest and say that she has no idea what, the big boss could be wanting with the 10 towns or Icewind Dale in general. She has no idea. That is fucking so strange, and it disturbs her deeply. And she spills all that out. Like, you see her very vulnerable in this moment, spilling all the beans all over the place. But once she tells you the whole truth, I mean, is there anything specific that you want to know?
No,
That's
just
generally.
After Klondoran said that shit about his allies working against him.
Yeah,
has been eating away at him.
You have a feeling that it's not Helene.
Yeah, but he just needed the peace of mind to know it's not her.
Yeah, it's not Helene. But she has walked in on a bunch of fucking cultists doing their deal and with a devil and shit and worked back. I mean, that's why she got out of the game, right? Because she was fucking with the wrong people. So yeah, she does tell you about that and comes clean in front of everybody and their mom. But after the stuff.
I'm very sorry and thank you.
Yeah, she's so fucking pissed. She says, "Get the fuck out of my house. Get out of here. And I don't want to see you again unless you completed one of the quests I just gave you." I love yous, but don't ever fucking cast no spells on me again.
Very fair.
All right, well, I be wishing you good luck.
Same to you.
And I am thankful that you killed a dragon. She sort of kicks a rock. Kicks the rug.
Yeah, we knew you didn't bust your ass going all the way up to the Dwarven Valley just for us to fuck it up at the end, so.
And what a fight it was. All right, I'll be seeing you.
Stay safe.
You as well.
I guess we got one more meeting than Ice Snow Drifters.
All right, where to next?
Is Vlyn still staying in Big Smile's house?
No, she's been staying around. You've seen her around. Do you want to have a confrontation with her? You can sort of find her.
Before we find her, maybe we should just have a quick. What the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah, sure. You guys can talk.
In my head, whatever the fuck we can.
That includes turning into errand boys for the Tens towns? While Avarice gets further and further ahead?
Turning into.
Fuck? What?
Turning into. We've been that.
Does it seem to have been doing a whole lot? Sure, we saved
for a while.
We saved a few and a whole lot of people died. Maybe we were pulling the wrong threads the whole time. Going after the Duergar instead of Avarice?
Yeah, and if we'd done that, we'd be the only people left in Icewind Dale.
We might be the only people left in Icewind Dale if we don't go after Avarice now.
You're not even exactly sure what Avarice is after.
No, but I know it's big fucking shit.
Well, regardless, I'm still gunning over there.
I think Yarmout could be helpful for us.
Gabar, these 10 towns are your home, are they not?
Oh, this is my fucking home.
Fuck this place.
No, I came from south.
You do not come from here. Interesting.
We're
Didn't-
both from Luskin.
I did come from Luskin.
I think I
Some
can
time ago?
understand your perspective better now.
Well, I don't know about you, but at the very least, I'm the only one who seems to be able to care about these 10 towns around here.
No, Quintus seems to care.
I care because I think it is fitting of those who wish to defend their home. And you have all helped me greatly, and I still wish to return the favor after all of this time, especially after we have found Oyam and Artuk.
Buddy, after that dragon, favor returned.
Yeah.
And yet
Well,
I'm still here.
if we're talking about dragons right quick, there's something you all should know.
What?
This pirate ship Flynn told us about has a dragon in it.
Oh, fucking hell.
What? What fucking big smile? It's gonna come out eventually. If we're gonna go there, then they should know better than to go there and then see the dragon. You remember that fucking dragon we heard about, that great white drake, Aviatorus, when we first came into 10? We started working for Lynn. There's some crazy dwarf shouting about it in the North Look that one time.
Lynn
Pretty sure-
knowing about it, not surprising. But we've been together for like 2 months straight. When did you find out about this? Did you know about it the whole time?
I
Is
know I
this-
just learned about the dragon like 10 days ago. I've
So you
known
knew
about
about
the
the
ship for some
dragon, but not-
time.
Okay. That answers that question.
But that's a story for another time. I'm just saying, if we're gonna make this little fucking trek out of the tundra, we have to be ready to do what we just did a 10-day ago again.
Yeah, but instead of CR 13, it's like CR 26.
And like,
And I will be. I will be willing to defend this place with my life if I have to.
okay, yeah, but you don't need to defend a decrepit pirate ship with your life.
But she wasn't wrong. There's treasure on that ship.
Yeah, if the dragon's there, I'll believe it.
That cold might not do too much good, though, if there's no 10 towns to come back to.
I don't care about the treasure. I care about the 10 towns.
Regardless, I'm willing to stick with you all on one condition. That sometime you come with me to my home. I think my folk would very much like to meet you all.
I mean, as much as I want to party with you and yours and have a barbecue, I just don't know if this is quite the time.
Let's go to the Goliath home, baby. Yeah, let's go.
You know what?
I did not quite have a party.
party.
I did not quite have a party in mind, but I will assure that you all have a warm welcome. But let us leave that for later. I think there are more pressing matters for all of you.
Well, let's put it to a vote then. I think my vote is Yarmout, and maybe we go to Karkalok after that.
Yeah, my main priority is Karkalok and Jarl's Mood, and I could take or leave it for the pirate ship.
What do you
I
think,
don't wanna-
Sapphira?
I guess I'll go for Karkalok first.
Seems like, a threat to the active threat to the 10 towns. So if we
Yes,
wrap that
yeah.
up, people will be safer.
Gabar.
I'm being overruled anyways. Vote's already in.
Still gonna vote. We don't know what V thinks.
I want to
What
talk
would-
to the villain first, at least, before I decide what we should do.
If it was just up to you, would we go straight to the Lost Spire then?
I don't know. I don't know, but I don't think that putting it on the back burner is the right thing. But if we have Lynn on our side, we might not have to.
What do you think, Illican?
I do not know much about this Karkalak, but I don't see why we shouldn't talk to Valen first.
And V? Jay, do you have any idea where V would? Yeah, okay.
V puts in her vote.
All right, well, let's go see Glenn first. Maybe she'll give us some more answers, and then we can decide where we're going from there.
Maybe she'll actually illuminate what Avarice is up to, and that'll give us her answer.
Oh, she
That
will.
could be helpful.
Oh, she will. She will. So do you guys just want to sort of smash cut to some sort of scene where you're meeting with Valen?
Yeah, that'd be great. if we
Yeah,
could.
sure.
Okay, well, narratively tell me what, like, she's just been sort of around. She's been keeping an eye on you guys, but she's also been, like, wheeling and dealing and doing her own sort of thing. Because you know her, she does her own thing. But
Sounds
she's
like kind of the same as
always,
we've been doing.
yeah, but she's always been, like, around where she could see you and you can see her, you know, like, you've seen her around town and stuff. So where do you guys want to meet with her? You want to meet with her at the house?
Yeah, Big
Yeah.
Smiley's house. We
Big
got
Smile's
attacked.
house?
We got a powerful wizard with us.
Perfect. All right, so you guys head over to Big Smile's house. Yeah, you guys meet with Valen, and we'll say it's, you know, pretty late afternoon. Like it's like getting around dinner time. What have you guys been eating?
I'm probably out of rations now.
Good berries, I
I-
presume.
Couple.
Good berries. We finally made it to good berry territory.
Are we finally on it?
Yeah, I mean, you've had a
So-
10-day to rechange your spells to whatever you want, so you can just change.
Yeah, that's right. I would have had a 10-day, and I already had them prepped. I just checked.
Okay.
They were actually there before, so yeah, good berries.
All right, so you
day and
guys
night.
may be eating good berries. Oh God, we're back to this.
What, did you guys have
uh,
to do that last campaign? or
The
something?
entire
For
campaign,
6 months, our characters survived on good berries and
And
ate
that's it.
nothing else.
nothing else.
Maybe the
Um,
occasional velociraptor leg, but
yeah.
that's like very rare.
Very rare. All right,
Oh,
so
this is all seeming so familiar again.
so you guys meet with Valen and her 2 remaining kobolds in a trench coat, which is much shorter now. The 2 kobolds in a trench coat is shorter than the.
The 3.
I was gonna say it just doesn't seem all that right now, but at the very least, she's gonna say like, at the very least, I can compare myself to somebody now.
So, and the ones left are Snox and Toggle. The fat one and the one that wears goggles.
Was Snox the one that stole from me?
No, the one that stole
I think
from
that
you
one
was
got
Dobby.
incinerated, right?
Yeah,
My ring.
the
damn it.
ring is lost to time. All right, so you guys meet with Valen, right? And it's afternoon, and she sort of shows up at the house and kicks off her boots, and her kobolds sort of all come out of the thing and start rummaging around the house and playing with the doors and stuff. They're like really kobolds are curious creatures by nature, so they're like fucking with all the shit in Big Smile's house, because you know Big Smile's got like really fancy curtains and paper windows and walls and shit or whatever. You know, he's got like this Japanese style house, so they're just fucking with all the shit on the inside.
You guys have been here before.
They just love it. They just love it. It's the same things over and over. You know those little door stoppers? They're just like but so you guys sit down and begin eating your good berries, and Valen's sort of been quiet this whole time. Do you have any way you want to bring this up to her? Because she's sort of being avoiding the conversation.
So, believe we had a conversation scheduled for after we survive or die.
She sighs and nods. I have been pondering this conundrum since before I left for the Duragar Citadel. I feel you're right. The time has come for me to speak to you about what I need from you. You see, I came here to Icewind Dale under orders of my master at the host tower of the Arcane Brotherhood's headquarters in Luskan. 4 others and myself made the journey here from the Arcane Brotherhood before the Neverwinding Winter. There was myself. There was a Thayan by the name of Dzan. I'm sure you're familiar. He was an expert in illusions. There was a tiefling named Avarice, an expert in evocation. A human by the name of Janth, who was an expert in primal magics and herbology. And another human by the name of Nas Lantamir, an expert in divination, and once my apprentice. She says that with a bit of salt on that one.
So it was Nas, Janth, and who else?
Nas, Janth, Avarice, Dzan, and herself.
Sorry, who was the last name? The apprentice?
5 of them.
Nas Lantamir. Naslantomir. Lantomir.
So he was a necromancer as well?
No, she was a divination wizard.
All right.
And was once her apprentice. Each of us were wishing to prove ourselves to the Archmage Arcane, the most powerful wizard in the Arcane Brotherhood. She seems hesitant to share this information with you, but gets over herself, and she'll say, you see, using divination magic, the Archmage Arcane learned of something buried under the ice of the Reghead Glacier. An ancient city called Ythryn. 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 And she looks at Gabar when she says this, but is directing it at everybody, but she's sort of just having a conversation with Gabar about it. She says, this city is a lost fragment of the Empire of Netheril. She'll explain to everyone, Netheril was a vast human empire ruled by wizards whose mastery of the weave remains unsurpassed to this day. Their wizards created many of the magic items we now find scattered across the world, whose wizards cast spells more powerful than wish, and used these spells to accomplish the impossible. Their magic could shear the tops off mountains and lift entire cities into the sky. Ythryn was once one of these flying cities. And then she looks at Gabar, but again is sort of giving it to everyone, giving this information to everyone, but she's sort of just having a conversation with Gabar about it. Can you imagine the potential of unearthing this city? It must contain magic beyond our wildest dreams.
Maybe my history is a little spotty, but isn't their magic unsurpassed for good reason?
Certainly, but as I said, magic items are not just created in this time. There may be items, the scale of which we have no understanding. Magic that could possibly end this hateful winter.
A few
Magic
10
that could
days-
change the face of Faerun forever.
A few 10 days ago, do you remember seeing a glimpse of sunlight?
I do.
We found a myth. What the fuck is that?
Have
thing
you ever
called?
heard of a mythalar?
A mythalar?
Her eyes sort of light up. a little bit.
I have cocked one. I mean, it didn't. It did kill Big Smile at one point.
You're right. The legends claim that the Netherese floating cities were held aloft by a magical artifact known as a mythalar.
Maybe we can find one in this city you're talking about.
Almost certainly, mythalar, although little understood from my research, I have learned that if there was a powerful enough mythalar, you could magically change the weather within a large radius. And there were also devices that were used to hold flying cities aloft. It is quite possible that Yithrin may hold a mythalar, and you can see her getting sort of excited, right? If we can find Yithrin and get the mythalar up and running again, we could easily save the 10 towns.
No long winter. No need to try to find a way to stop it anymore.
So where does Levistus come into all of this?
Let me continue to explain. I will get to it. You see, the reason that I tell you this is I need your help to find this lost city. I can't do it alone, as I originally assumed. You see, Yithrin is buried incredibly deep beneath the ice. It is impossible to get to by mundane means. But from the Brotherhood's divining, they discovered... Excuse me. Through the Brotherhood's divining, they discovered that there's a way to crack open the glacier. A magical spell or ritual that can carve a passage through the ragged glacier to the lost city. The Brotherhood has divined that this spell is contained within an ancient and powerful tome known as the Codicil of White. It is said that the Codicil was written by the Frostmaiden herself and is guarded by her most loyal followers. And it is rumored to be hidden somewhere in Icewind Dale. And that was our first mission, to locate the Codicil of White. But when the other Brotherhood members and myself arrived in 10 towns, we each went our separate ways. And it then became a race. A competition of sorts. However, I have discovered that some of my colleagues' goals are more sinister than originally anticipated. As you said, and she looks towards Quintus, avarice may be consorting with devils.
Maybe.
And the problem is I don't know why. But perhaps fiends may have some desire to unlock the magic held within Yithrin as well. As I said, this magic has not been used in thousands of years. Some of its power may not even be able to be reached by the highest archdevil.
I mean, Gabar did it.
No, I'm saying there's magic in there that may be more powerful than even devils can fuck with. Oh, you're talking about the Mythalar?
Yeah.
Oh, sure, yeah, sure.
Oh yeah.
But there's even more shit in there. It's like it's a fucking magic city. But yeah.
What happened with Zan and the red wizard?
Well, the rumors have. I'm not sure what Dazan ended up doing, but rumor reached me that Dazan had located something of great importance in the tundra. A spire. In my mind, I assume that it's possibly something related to Yithrin. But he was executed in East Haven for foul play and murder. So any information he may have had died with him.
He was executed for murdering adventurers who found this thing with him because none could find its location once they found it.
Who was?
But we have a map.
Then,
Zan.
Yeah, that was pulled off of his dead body.
All right.
it was confiscated from him and taken into, what do you call it? Lockup? Yes.
And now we both know the location of this spire.
Indeed.
I wonder why he killed the Winter's Cabinet, though.
So that none others could ever find it.
Yeah, they
Probably
found
to keep myself and Avarice from finding it. And Janth. She'll mention Janth as well.
Yeah, what's his deal? Is he a bag?
I'm sorry? No, Janth is a human.
No, he's a bag.
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Janth is a bag? You might want to explain this to her.
Yeah.
She doesn't understand.
I'm sorry, that's just too funny.
Honestly, you guys don't even understand it exactly.
So when we met Janth, he was the Blue Dragonborn Lieutenant Drazivar.
No,
Actually,
he was Trex the
Kobold.
Cabal.
Oh, right, Trex, right.
I'm sorry.
Forgot.
You're telling me that the herbalist and primal magic wizard Janth was a kobold?
He seems to be possessing people who wear his. He had like a white bag, satchel thing with
Yes.
the Arcane Brotherhood sigil on it.
Yes. He
Yeah,
cared
no,
more
that's
for
all
that
that's
bag than
left.
anything. Wait,
Of him.
did he die?
It wasn't
It's-
us.
I've heard of spirits being connected to objects, and when in possession of humanoids, they become possessed by that spirit.
Well, yeah, he's a Blue Dragonborn now, so you might not recognize him.
Do you know where he is, what he's doing?
Working with Everest.
Yeah, he's with her.
Her eyes widen. He's working with Avarice?
Yes.
That's not good.
It gets worse.
And how much worse could it get?
That map that I might have lent it to you was a copy of the real one
Don't
that
tell.
they took
No.
from us.
So you're telling me Avarice knows the location of the spire? When
Yeah,
was-
she's
this
known
was
for about
like
a month.
10 days ago.
Oh.
This is a long time
She
ago.
puts her hand in her head. They've already found it by now. There's no doubt. 2 high-level wizards have located the spire before us. That's not the only issue either. You see, my old apprentice, Nas Lantimir, was once working with me. However, at the first opportunity she had, she betrayed me. Before he passed, my grandfather provided me with an heirloom that has been in my family for generations. A Professor Orb. Can you make an Arcana check? Whoever thinks that they might know about weird, strange, obscure magic items.
Terrible.
That's not too bad.
I doubt I'm gonna be Gabar.
No,
Nope,
okay, yeah. So
definitely not.
Gabar, you've heard of it before. She's gonna explain it, but They're artifacts. They're not just regular everyday magic items. And there's a good handful of them, but there's not many in this world. And she's going to explain what it is, and you know what it is. But she'll say a professor orb named Professor Scant. The orb is a sentient magic item and contains vast amounts of knowledge about a few certain subjects. One of Professor Scant's specialties is Netherese history. It was giving me a sort of leg up on this quest, but not long after we were settled in 10 towns, Nass attacked me and stole the orb. I haven't seen her since. If Avarice knows the location of the spire and Nass Lantamir has the orb, we are in 3rd place.
Still puts us in front of Tazan. Look on the bright side of things.
Very true.
We're
Very
not
true.
last.
But after all of that happened, I met you. And I knew that I couldn't do this alone, and I needed to see if you were capable enough to aid. Obviously, the quest I sent you was a bust, but you have tenfold showed your worth in these 10 towns. And that's why I came to help you. The dragon issue has been dealt with, but now the 10 towns faces extermination from this never-ending winter. But we have a chance to end it ourselves. I have no ideas on where to start besides Zen's spire.
We have any chance to run and take care of some goblins and do some shit for the 10 towns, or do we gotta make haste yesterday for this spire?
Well, we are lucky that Avarice does not have the Professor Orb. If she did, she would probably already have the Codicil of White. But as I said, it's guarded heavily by the Frostmaiden's most devout worshippers. And I have no idea where to begin to look for it either.
So we let her do the heavy lifting.
Possibly. But if she has been to the spire already, she may have claimed whatever clues that may lead us to the next point. But it can't hurt to look. Try. If needed, I do agree that the 10 towns cannot stand on their own without a little bit of aid.
Yeah, because I mean, it's risky, but we could leave now, go after Avarice and the Codicil, or wait and pick them up both in one fell swoop. But letting her get the Codicil.
That is risky.
Yeah, the Codicil of White they say was written by the Frostmaiden herself. It contains a piece of her divinity inside of it, basically. So that thing's no fucking joke either. And we already know that Avarice is sort of a evocation wizard, so more blast snow spells for her is not doing anybody any favors. And Janth is working with her too, which Vlyn didn't fucking know that. That makes it doubly worse. It was one thing when they were all racing against each other, but I guess Janth died, And now it's like, fuck this, I can't do this on my own. And is teamed up with the one who he thinks is going to win. And it also seems like Avarice is not doing this for the Archmage Arcane, too. You know, obviously she's not doing this to change the, to change the course of magical history. She's doing this for some other fucking.
She's working with Levistus.
Yeah. So, whatever Levistus wants out of Yithrin can't be good.
And not saying this in front of Valin, but we can also assume this is what Asmodeus is interested in.
Why don't you make some sort of check to like put two and two together? So either insight or investigation.
I'll do insight.
I'll allow a history too if you want.
Yeah, it's the same bonus.
It's the same bonus. 15. Okay, I'll just give you a piece of information. You can do with it what you will, but you do know that Asmodeus and Levistus are like mortal rivals.
Yeah, so he might just be trying to cock block Levistus. He doesn't even care about whatever's here.
You're not sure, but maybe. Yeah, maybe he's just trying to cock block Levistus, maybe. Like, really, this is Levistus's plan, and Asmodeus is like, fuck you. You're not sure. Yeah, you're not sure, but you can use that information as you will.
All right, so what are we doing here, gang? What do you think, Bart? Do we have time to go down and take care of the goblins, or?
I was hoping that Vlyn would have like better news than what that was. That would be like, hey, let's do something easier that doesn't involve us jumping into a certain fucking death.
It's never easy.
No, this is the main quest. This is the hard one.
But this is jumping into certain fucking death too. So I guess pick your fucking poison.
Valin sort of says that whatever you guys need to do, she completely understands. Like this is what makes us different than Avarice.
Are you gonna come with us then, Gwen?
She would rather not go fuck with some goblins, but she will if she has to.
We have the dogs.
Yeah, I mean she'll loan you the dogs. She doesn't really want to go, because she could stay back and do research and try to find out more information. Focus on her quest. But if you guys say, "Bitch, you got to come with us," she will.
I think it'd probably be better to have her stay back and do research and try to get more information instead of fucking with some goblins.
Yeah, that's kind of beneath her, honestly.
Yeah.
Agreed. Well, is that the plan then?
I think goblins, Jarl's moot, and then a pirate ship and a dragon ?
We'll put you guys back over that now.
So we're doing the goblins first.
I'm less concerned about the Duchess, and I think Yarmut and Karkalok is step one.
It is a half. She said it was a half a day's ride from Jarlmut to the Duchess.
No.
I thought she said.
No, she didn't say how far it would be. But let's see. It's about, let's say 17 miles, and let's look up the travel times here.
So is that 17 hours?
Hold up. It's different when you're going across tundra.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dog sled tundra. Yeah, it's 1 mile per hour, so it's about 17 hours. So that's like 2 days.
Long day, one short day.
Yeah, basically.
Lynn
I mean,
said the
yeah,
gold could
Karkalok
help.
alone is like 3 days, 4 days of travel.
Yeah. It is shorter. You're right. It is shorter to take the road to the Red Run and then go down the river from there. Because roads is 4 miles per hour.
Yeah.
So if it's 14 miles, you can get 4 miles in an hour. So 14 divided by 4.
3.5.
Yeah, so you can get down the road in about 3.5 hours. So it's like 1 day to get to like here, probably. And then another
2 days.
2 days, yeah. So about 3 days, like you said.
And then another 2 days to get to Jarlsmith.
Yep.
I mean, if we can swing a 10-day out of our schedule.
I don't know what other option. I just feel like we can't go unchecked with these goblins.
Oh no, they're destroying Bremen, who is like the home to our mortal enemies, the Zentirum. Oh no, we should go stop it. Fuck them.
Bryn Shinder's the home to our mortal enemies now, man. Everybody lives here. They're going to come for Prince Shander eventually. I mean, we met goblins up by Tourmaline, so...
The speaker is an asshole, but at the very least, the townspeople aren't.
Yeah, also, like, if they're going to try to, like I said, Bryn Shander is not on a lake or in a wood. You know, it's a trade post. There's nothing around that's useful. If they want to survive, they have to go outside of Bryn Shander. And anytime they go outside of Bryn Shander, they get fucked up by goblins. And according to what the speaker Shane said, they were approached by the chief. A message was sent from the chief that said, "Hey, we want to negotiate a peace treaty." And a lot of people were skeptical of that. Like, what the fuck? Why? You know?
Yeah.
So you're not exactly sure what that means either.
Well, Karkalok is my vote. I think we should probably head out pretty soon because it's going to take us 3 days just to get there.
All right, Karklak and then Drellmoot.
Yeah.
Great.
All right.
All right. It's late afternoon. Do you guys want to get a rest in?
Did we
Yeah.
even do anything this day?
Yeah.
Warrant to rest?
You got like 6 fucking quests. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like to warrant. I mean, like.
Yeah,
I mean,
you were
we
up all
haven't
day.
really. I mean, I mean, I know we've done stuff, but whatever. Whatever.
Yeah. Not intense for an adventurer.
Right. Why don't we take a break?
Cool.
Okay.
I want to wait for Nate to get here.
All right.
He's going to be here in a second, so I'll see you guys in a second.
Yep.
Me.
Look, we really got our hands full with all this shit coming down the pipeline now, eh?
Yeah.
This is a really cool campaign.
Lots of threads. I love that the map is like,
That's what chapter everything's from.
what's that?
You love that the map says all the chapters that everything's from.
Oh no, I'm looking. So
Fucking
like I'm
hate
looking at
that.
the scale in the bottom where it's like 20 miles, and like 20 miles was what, one of the hexes in Tomb of Annihilation.
10 was, yeah.
Oh yeah. So it's like looking at the amount of stuff that they have packed into this small area versus where like you would go like days without
Days.
seeing shit.
Yeah,
in shows.
yeah, that's true.
Oh.
All right. Also, since we're on this big map, I'll go ahead and unlock the actual name of the Lost Spire. This is why I didn't want to show it to you. Yeah, I didn't want to show you that originally, because the name would have gave everything away. But yeah, it's a Lost Spire.
Wait, why is Sunblight Fortress or Sunblight Chapter 3? I thought we did that in Chapter 1.
No, that is season 1, right?
There's
Oh,
adventure chapters and then our campaign chapter.
Yes, that's right. The adventure is all fucked. It's the adventure is more like a campaign setting than an adventure. I have to make it be an adventure, right? So there's like things to do, and all those things to do are sort of laid out, but I have to put them together like a puzzle to make it a cohesive sort of story. You can never play this game the same way twice. Just because of the way that everything's sort of fucking laid out and everything like that.
cool.
Yeah. But you guys have unlocked a lot of the locations already. Like there's only a couple left on this map. So but yeah, pretty cool. So you got the Dark Duchess, Yarmut, and Karkalok. Nate's not coming.
Oh, he's not?
Yeah, he's not gonna make it.
bummer.
Yeah, he's not gonna make it.
He missed a bad one. Like, there's so much fucking lore and information.
That's okay.
I wrote, like-
It is a decent one to miss though, because you could just watch it over and learn all the same shit.
Yeah, I wrote down 2 pages of notes for this.
Yeah, I do have pretty chunky notes.
Yeah, I told you I was gonna fucking monologue a lot.
I think I dropped off right around that conversation with Valen started, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna watch this again tomorrow, and then just finish it off then.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, okay. So because Nate's not coming, we can drag this out just a tiny bit more. So do you guys want to talk about anything? You want to do a Tales by the Campfire? Anything like that?
I feel like Nate should be there for that if we're doing like background character.
He is.
stuff.
He'll be here. He's gonna watch it over and fucking take notes and stuff. So we can do a Tales by the Campfire if you want to, or we can move on to the next thing. It's
Yeah,
up to
we
you
do
guys.
have 3 days of travel coming up, so
I think we should make haste, honestly.
Okay. All right. So then we will go to bed. No problem. And
We have.
Yep,
Sorry,
go.
very quick. We
No,
do
go,
have
please.
Sand's spellbook, right?
Yes, you do.
Did you ever give me those spells? I
Maybe
thought you said you were gonna message them in me in Discord.
I didn't. Here, I'll pull up for you.
I mean, I don't actually have any parchment left. Anyways, I was just curious if I could use this as a bargaining chip with Valen.
For what? What do you want from Valen?
Valen have to offer maybe a particular wand.
No, that's her bread and butter. She can't give that away. Yeah, I mean, honestly, all she has to offer is sort of her help when you need it, and
Okay.
she's basically going to stick with you for the rest of the adventure.
I'd rather have the spell book for now then.
Yeah, you got it. If you want to know what's in it, just tell me and I'll tell you.
Just
I'll
shoot you a message tomorrow.
Yeah, he has illusion spells. That's sort of his deal.
It's not really my forte. Who was the divination? That was
Nas Lantimir.
her apprentice.
Yep.
That's whose spellbook I want.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't know it, but you've actually met or encountered her before. Nas Lantimir. Yep. All the way back in session 1.
I knew it. First roll of the game, I made an insight check on her.
Yep. That was her. That was her. That was Nas Lantimir. And she was heading out to get some stuff. She was on her way. But you don't know that, and you can't like retroactively be
Obviously.
like, I knew that was her, and we're gonna use whatever information I was given at that point. But it was a fun little thing that I knew was happening the whole time, but you guys didn't.
I don't have my notes. I'll have to go back and rewatch that episode.
Yeah, she bumped into Sapphira as she was leaving the Northland.
Yeah, it's probably like within the first 15 minutes of episode 1.
Yep. So yeah, we wake up in the morning, and you guys are free to do whatever you want to do. What do you guys want to do?
Let's
I'm
borrow
assuming-
Valen's sleds.
All right, you're gonna leave Valen behind and borrow her sleds.
Yeah.
I'll try not to bring the dogs back alive. That'd be weird.
Nice. Because they're undead. Very funny. Okay. That's no problem. So you guys start making your Valen tells you where they're hidden. They're outside of town. And you guys start heading out of town. And as you are walking down the street, you're seeing the same sort of just awful stuff. You know, people are dying, and it's pretty rough. And you're just sort of looking down at them as you're walking down the street, bellies full of goodberry. As you guys walk, we're just gonna fucking end the session. It was great, but Nate's got to be here.
Yeah.
As you guys walk through the street, an urchin jolts out of a nearby alley, right? And they're covered in like frost and stuff, and they look starved. And they look horrible, actually. Like they have huge sags under their eyes. They just look like they haven't slept in days. And they jolt out of the nearby alley and grabs onto V. Right? And as they grab onto V, you guys are like, what the fuck? And V's like, what the fuck? And he says, you're the one that can help me. It hurts. My head, it hurts. Put an end to this, please, my head. And then suddenly his neck cracks in a weird sort of way in the middle of the street. I'm talking like there's people around. And just in the middle of the street, his head sort of goes to the side, and he begins to speak in a voice that is his own, but also not his own. And it says, "Bring us the crystal, thrall. You cannot avoid your destiny forever. Bring us the crystal." You guys heard that, right?
Yeah.
Was it-
Yeah.
it was all voice effecty? Okay, cool.
Yep.
And it says it sort of out loud with his mouth moving, although it wasn't its voice coming out. And then suddenly the man's skull cracks open with a splash of blood all over you guys. And you guys draw your weapons and shit. Valen is with you too. She's like right behind you. And the top of his head cracks open, right? Goo and blood drips down his face, and tiny little tentacles burst out of the top of his head, and it starts to attack V. And we'll roll initiative next session, I guess.
Oh, what the fuck?
An intellect devoured, or this dude just fully undergoes ceramorphosis?
You'll have to see.
So that's a conversation to be had soon.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait till V comes back for this one.
Yeah, I took a break because I was hoping Nate was going to be here.
No, that's totally fair.
But he's not, so that's the end of the session.
Damn.
Wow.
Oh, man.
All right.
What a way to
Good
end it.
cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fun.
Okay. See you guys next week.
Yep, see you next week. That makes up for last week of having no notes. I have like triple notes for this session. So
Yeah.
I got
I got hella
I got
notes.
2 pages worth.
Yeah, like I said, this is going to be a big, heavy, but it's the beginning
that's
of the new
good.
season, right? It's sort of setting up all the things that are going to happen next, you know?
Oh, yeah.
well, now we know how much of a dig Nerith has in 10 towns, so that's good and bad.
Yeah,
We
it's
just cut the head off the snake. We fucking kill Nerith. We skip town, kill some goblins.
I feel like I threw that out there at one point, and everyone's like, "Yo, what the fuck, dude?" And now it's like that's probably what should happen.
Yeah.
Probably
I
is
feel
what
like
should
Quintus would have
happen,
entertained the thought at any point.
I mean,
think I threw it out
if
there.
you guys end up stopping the never-ending winter, because honestly, right now you have two sort of routes to get that done, right? You have the supposed Mythalar in Yithrin, right, which is possibly there. Like, you guys have no fucking clue, honestly. And there's also asking the Frost Giant spirits, maybe they know something about why this winter is here in the first place, right? You guys still don't know what is up
two
with it.
hard maybes.
Yeah, two hard maybes. But it's also like, if you find out why the winter is happening, that might help you sort of figure out how you could end it. And there might be another route you could take to end it, you know? So it's
And
sort of
also,
really
during
open.
this time too, we can also probably like dig up enough dirt on Nerith Maxilinar and like all of his ilk in order to just kind of like, hey, we taking care of this, and like you guys can take care of like whatever worms are in your.
We have to get half of 10 towns on our side before we can start accusing the person who has half of 10 towns on his side.
More than
So
half at this point, right?
Yeah, so he has the majority control, so we have to at least get some people back to the right side to be able to accuse him and then unseat him.
Yeah.
You know, because if right now we're just being like, hey, fuck that guy, then like half the speakers would be like, execute those fucking idiots. you
Right.
know?
True. Yeah.
Right.
I guess. I mean, we have a way in order to get like the good me people on our side at least.
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
All right. I'm going to catch you
All
guys
right.
next week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'll see
next
you
week.
guys later.
See y'all
Toodaloo.
later.
Yeah.
All right, see you next
Bye.
week. Thanks,
Bye.
man. That was awesome.
Yes, sir.
You know, it was a good session.
Bye
12 angry
bye.
Jays.
Yeah.